what it is. Get ready for it. You know what time is it? 何も問題ない範囲な容器に家じゃもったいないって呼び出してここで待ち合わせしてみたけどまるで気配もありません強い日差しでやられ
Hello everybody, welcome to episode 57 of Ono Anime the podcast. It is 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, June 13th, 2018. My name is Mark.
I'm Patrick.
And we're back again. I feel like I say this every episode, but we're back after a very long break.
Yeah. What happened to Ono Anime, the bi-weekly?
Yeah, bi-weekly podcast. Yeah,
that was nice while it lasted.
Yeah, but
nobody likes
we
anime
also
that
were
much.
literally doing nothing besides that when we were doing that.
That's true.
This week kind of unofficially sort of marks 3 years that we've been doing this thing too.
God damn, yeah. And that came up because E3.
Yeah, which we'll be talking about a little bit later. But yeah, we've been doing this thing for roughly 3 years, at least the podcast.
Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, and what's more disgusting is that we've only managed to put out 57 episodes in 3 years.
You know, honestly, I feel like that's par for the course.
Yeah.
Everybody has these great lofty ambitions, but you know what? Unless this is your job, I think we're doing all right.
Yeah. Well, and especially since like most anime podcasts I follow, at least on Twitter, have like a 12-a-year schedule.
Yeah.
It's, I guess we do better than most.
We have been doing other content.
Yeah.
So
mostly other content, some would say.
So if you only listen to us on iTunes, check out our YouTube.
Yeah. YouTube.com/OnoAnime.
Or head to the website, onoanime.moe.
Yeah.
It's fresh.
We'll be plugging that at the end because that's a whole rigmarole.
We did, since our last episode, we have done a full website overhaul though. So take a look at that if you haven't yet. It's very pretty.
Onoanime.moe, and it's nice because we can just say onoanime.moe now, and right there on the front page is a link to literally everything that we do. So, yeah, go over there. It's pretty. It's got some new features, which is really nice. Unfortunately, all of our old links are broken, but that's what happens when you migrate an entire website.
Comes with it.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about a couple things today. We are going to be talking about our Anime Expo plans briefly, mostly because I guess you could consider this an official acknowledgement that yes, we are going back to Anime Expo as we always do, and we are going to be working and covering it the best as we can for a two-man operation, which turns out is better than I thought we would be able to, but not very well.
We got invited back. Well, back. They allowed us back.
Yeah, we got our press credentials again.
It was funny because I didn't realize until we were there last year, and I was talking to other people in the media lounge. Most everybody has like a 10 to 15 man team.
Yeah,
like most of the press passes they're hardly like one or two person small thing. So I guess somebody out there is looking out for us. So thank you, Anime Expo team member.
Or at least is happy that we're covering the convention, I guess. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about E3 briefly because E3 is currently ongoing as we speak. All the press conferences have wrapped up, so we'll be able to talk about some of that. And then we are going to finally talk for the first time since our Fooly Cooly Rewind series about Fooly Cooly Progressive, since 2 episodes have aired so far of that. And then we're going to do like we always do and finish up with the season's anime, which turns out is a mixed bag.
Yeah, we've gone our own ways on those.
Yeah, it'll be interesting checking in with all the stuff that we've watched and also dropped, and maybe one show that I am shocked that neither of us has dropped, for reasons that we will get to. So let's talk about AX.
Yeah.
We're going first.
Yes, we're going, and we're going to be there the entire time.
Yeah.
We're both getting there on day -1, actually, not even day 0.
So I think our coverage of the event is probably going to start on July 5th, which is +2. Oh, hey. It's about to rain.
In Florida.
Hopefully our mics aren't picking that thunderous thunder up.
Whoops.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, so I think our coverage is probably going to start on July 5th, and that'll run every day.
Day 1?
Yeah. I think we'll probably be
1.
having a day 0 video going up on day 1.
Yeah, that's what I meant, because the reason we're getting there on day -1 instead of day 0 like last year is because day 0 is the Aqua concert.
Yeah.
We are getting a full Aqua concert. This is their 3rd year in a row being at Anime Expo in some way, shape, or form. Last year they performed, 3 songs.
Yeah, there was not much.
But we're getting right in the middle of their actual Japanese tour. They're hopping over the Pacific for a show, and
it's a hella crazy schedule.
Small Love Live Sunshine finale. Spoilers here. I don't know if you heard this, but they did the first show last week of this tour, and if you remember in the finale, Mikan does the flip.
Yep.
Anchan actually does it at the live. So
here we go.
If we're getting the same set list, we're going to see Anju Inami do a flip, which is super exciting.
I think our coverage is going to be more individual than it ever has been, mostly because I think we're trying to, as much as we can effectively split our time between as much as we can go to.
It's unfortunate this year. I know we talked about it a little bit last year, but this year especially, Anime Expo is scheduling things against each other.
Yeah,
really hard. They've announced some of the big events. They've announced the Attack on Titan premiere. They've 3. announced a Sora Online massive event where we can probably safely assume they're going to premiere Alicization.
Yeah.
They announced there was the Hero Academia premiere, and all of those events are during.
Not only that, but also Trigger's Gridman anime is premiering as well.
They just announced that one a few hours ago, and literally every single one of those is during one of the ticketed concerts, which of course I got tickets to all of them.
Now I am only going to 2 ticketed concerts, so I will be able to probably go to some of those. Of course, the Gridman anime is happening at one of the ones that I actually happen to go to, but I probably am going to be
if you have to bounce, you have to bounce.
It's Gridman.
It's Gridman, and more importantly, it's Trigger's panel, which is historically the best panel at Anime Expo. Even without the premieres, they know how to bring it, and they always do something super special.
Yeah. So I should say right off the bat, onoanime.moe or onoanime.com/AX2018, just like last year's. That'll just take you to the AX 2018 tag on the site, and we'll have that up probably sometime by the end of this weekend when this comes out, just with a preliminary post basically saying hey, this is where you're going to go to, to get all of our AX content, and that'll be where all of our daily recap videos go. Any sort of articles that we're writing, a lot of concert diaries, I'm assuming are going to be in there, and panel write-ups and event write-ups and whatever else. And then anything that we release post convention, I want to try to do more on the floor content, more off the cuff stuff.
Definitely.
So
especially for me, I think because my schedule is definitely going to be around these concerts, because they're it's like they looked at me and said, what does Patrick like? Let's put it in a concert for pretty much every day. So I think my days are mostly going to be going to the concert and hitting what panels I can before that, and then hitting the other nighttime event concerts.
And you are going to try to do some interviews, maybe?
Yes, I am planning. One of my best friends is going to be there. She was actually on a much earlier episode, almost 2 years ago now. But she's going to help me do some interviews. She was. Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
Filmed a interview with them, in a hotel room in Orlando.
It was a very long time ago.
Yes, but so we're going to be doing some cool floor interviews. If you see us, please flag me down. I would love to get a word from you.
Or hit us up on Twitter. We'll meet you in an interview.
Absolutely.
If you're going to be at the convention, anybody that we that either of us know on Twitter, hit us up.
Even if we have mutuals, hit us up.
We're at Ono Anime on Twitter if you want to use the official account, or I'm at Vermillionaire with a 3 instead of the last E.
And I'm Patrick130M.
Yeah, don't be afraid to hit us up anytime before the convention if you want to schedule something with us or whatever. We're definitely very interested in seeing what people have to say.
We haven't met too many of our fans or followers, but every time we have, it's been really awesome.
Yeah.
So
the 2 other things that I know we're going to at least try to do is one of them I think is probably more likely to happen than the other. We're going to try to do a drunken hotel room podcast with Danny and Kay from Anime is Lit. That'll be audio only, but that'll be probably up in the feed same night whenever that happens. God knows when.
Anime's a shit show.
And then I would really, really, really hopefully if we have some time, like to do sort of a tour of what the convention looks like.
That's a good idea.
Because Polygon has done that multiple times at E3, and I think it's really interesting to see what the convention actually looks like, because a lot of people can't go to AX, and I think it's some interesting content, and also will allow us to bring out the riffs.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea because one of the things that Press Pass lets us do is go through some hallways that are otherwise closed and have the best bathrooms. By the way,
yeah,
you skip a line.
Also, the press room has an incredibly good view of the dealer's
Yeah,
room,
that's where I was getting. Like, there's only like 4 main areas really, and the press room has an awesome view of the. I think they call it the exhibition hall.
Yeah.
But it's a great view, and it's really cool to see because all the companies bring out their big things. You know, Funimation normally has a giant Shenron. Blizzard is going to be there with they call it the payload. It's a big like traveling Overwatch thing.
We're going to try to put you in the action as much as possible because like I said, a lot of people just don't get to go to AX. So at least we'll try to make some stuff that'll at least try to make you feel like you're being there.
Yeah.
Also, I super duper apologize because this thunder is super fucking loud right now.
I'm already ignoring it because we're in Florida.
Yeah,
that's just part of it.
So I apologize if that's coming through on the recording. Hopefully these mics are isolated enough. But
one last bit about Anime Expo, I think, unless you had more to say. Last year we didn't do any professional interviews. This year I am going to try my best to get to do that, especially some of the idols. Because
that was what I was trying to get at when I said interviews.
Oh, I assume you meant on the floor stuff. No, interviews.
I don't fucking care about those people. I don't fucking care about our fans.
Anyway, definitely some professional interviews for me, especially. There's some certain idols that I've been lucky enough to speak to before that I would love to be able to surprise and be like, hey, it's me.
Yeah. That'll be very interesting if you can finagle that, which I don't think that you'll have any problem interviewing Iris.
No. Yeah, that's
I think you'll be able to get that time slot.
I have a document that's like, it's just like specific, almost, I want to say almost stalkerish questions for each of them. But one of the fun things about Iris is they don't have a lot of social media control. They really have freedom to post whatever they want. So a lot of their personal lives show up online. So it's kind of fun genuine. It's fun to get in there and ask them about it.
Can't wait for next year where AX is definitely going to bring Sally Amaki over, and I mean
Dude,
that's going to happen.
22/7 lights up.
That's absolutely gonna. No, not 22/7. Just Sally.
Oh man,
she'll be a fucking rock star if that happens.
Yeah. She's great.
Yeah, so like I said, onoanime.com or onoanime.moe/AX2018 is the place to be for all that stuff. Coverage starts tentatively on July 5th, unless something else happens. It's also super weird scheduling this year where the July 4th happens before the convention even starts.
Because it's on a Wednesday. Normally they throw it on the weekend. But
so yeah, expect that. And then also 2 days after I get back from AX, I'm going to see the Pillows in New York.
That's pretty dope. I will
expect some content related to that as well immediately after.
I will still be in LA, and I think what day is the concert? The 10th?
The 12th.
Oh, the 12th. Oh, okay. I was going to say because on the 10th I'm going to Disneyland.
I'm going to Disneyland.
Dude, I've never been. I go to Disney World like once a month. I've never been to Disneyland. I am excited.
It'll be cool. You're not going to California Adventure? Everybody's favorite park?
No.
Okay.
I do hear the castle is much smaller here.
Yes. So that's that with AX. onoanime.moe/AX2018. Make sure to go there.
Just make it flash on the video.
No, I definitely, I'm going to edit that in, and then I'm going to completely forget to edit that in.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about E3 here for about 15 minutes probably.
Yeah.
So E3. Let's just start off with this. Of all of the stuff that was either shown or announced, what is the one that you're most anticipating right now?
It has to be Kingdom Hearts 3 for me.
Okay.
We finally have a release date. I mean, Kingdom Hearts was really... I still have the PlayStation magazine with the first cover story with like a 14-page spread. That was so much of my childhood, and I am one of those just like absolutely earnest, pure fans that can't wait for more.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see everybody get hyped about it, people yelling about Aqua being Norded and stuff like that.
I tell you what, it was literally impossible to watch any E3 press conference and not see something about Kingdom Hearts 3.
I think in 4 of them, and it was funny because every time I was just like, is this the same trailer? But no, every time something new got added, whether it was Frozen or literal fucking Johnny Depp or Ratatouille.
God, I forgot about that.
Don't forget Johnny Depp, because
Thanks,
they've had a Pirates stage before and it wasn't very good.
I have seen some screenshots of it, and you're right, it does not look good.
It's not very good. No, I mean that game, I've been waiting so very long. And of course there was also the announcement that they're putting together the main entries together in a PS4 HD collection, which I will also be buying because I've been itching to play the second one in Birth by Sleep again.
Was it not the implication that all of those would be coming with Kingdom Hearts 3?
It might have been. I was falling asleep by the end of that.
I thought that was the implication, that you were just going to get fucking all of them.
I hope it comes out sooner, maybe as like a pre-order bonus or something, so I don't have to deal with having Kingdom Hearts 3 and not playing it for 3 weeks while I play through the others.
Clearly it's an inferior bundle because there's no Chain of Memories in there. So,
well, funny you mentioned, because you're right, it doesn't have Chain of Memories, but one of the things in like the mix, it's got like 1.5 and 2.8, like Awakened Prologue. I forget all the dumb names.
8,000
but
remasters.
they do have stuff that fills in those gaps, because I've spoken to a lot of my friends that, you know, they remember playing Kingdom Hearts and they might remember playing Kingdom Hearts 2, but they've essentially given up on the story, and that's because they're sane. Who wouldn't have given up on the story at this point?
Yeah.
But that bundle like catches you up enough to know the gist of what's going on in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Totally.
Which I will still need. Like, I've done my best to keep up with it, and I'm still mostly lost.
Well, I feel like it's also like totally a trope of Kingdom Hearts to just straight up ignore multiple like entries.
Oh, absolutely.
Story-wise.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them are like side or like such a crazy prequel, or you know, they literally add another dimension.
Yeah, totally.
That's my excitement. That's not to say other things weren't super cool, because there was a ton. But Kingdom Hearts 3 takes it for me.
Yeah. It'd be really easy for me to say that Fallout 76 is the most excited thing I'm about, only because that fucking Country Road cover has been literally in my head for days. I don't know. I think that honestly, the thing I'm just most curious about, honestly, is probably Halo Infinite. They showed very little of what that thing actually is.
So is it like directly related to Halo Wars? Did I hear that?
No. So it is for all intents and purposes in just outside of name Halo 6.
Oh, okay.
And what I understand is it is just a complete from the ground up reapproach to
good
where they're thank God, because Halo 5
they
was
need it,
not good.
And but Chief is back. That's the most
important. So they definitely have clearly heard the criticisms of both the new art style and the fact that you only played 2 fucking stages in the last game as Master Chief. They're building like an entirely new engine for it called the Slip Space engine, which is I think the first major engine overhaul that Halo has ever had.
Yeah, they've been running on Havoc since Halo.
Yeah, the Slip Space engine is a fucking perfect name.
That's
for
a really good name.
And for what they showed was all in engine supposedly, and it was all beautiful. Most importantly, though, it all looked like Halo. It is. Yeah. It looks like Halo more than any other thing that 343 has ever made.
That's very important. Halo, more than almost anything, has a feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely has like, obviously 343 is going to have to put their mark on it, and but the armor that Chief is wearing is very clearly like some sort of derivation on the Mark 6 from Halo 3, like or Halo 2 and 3. The Marines look more like classic Marines. The Warthog looks more like classic Warthog. The fact that he's standing on a fucking Halo is like a big deal.
That's important. That was a thing that caught me. I was just like, oh my God, there's a Halo in Halo.
Yeah, they have not gone to a Halo in 2 games. So I mean, they were near a Halo in Halo 4, but they didn't actually go on it. So it's cool to see them. And I hope that they just don't fucking explain the art style change at all.
They shouldn't.
But I also hope that they continue to get weird and experiment with it, because I think the most exciting thing for me about 343 doing Halo has always been them taking Halo outside the box a little bit. All the areas that they were showing were really wide open and very like big.
Remind me of the Halo stage from Halo.
I kind of almost hope that this is like either a pseudo open world Halo game or something similar.
That's such a cool idea, because Halo, like when they originally conceived of it, was based on Larry Niven's Ring World.
Yeah.
For those of you who haven't read that, like the Ring World was literally a super smart race, like the Forerunners getting together and knowing that everything was going to end because the galaxy core was about to explode, and they rebuilt like every planet that had life on it in different sections of the ring. So the Halo rings are a lot smaller than the Ring World ones, but just like an idea of what different like biomes you could have in different parts of a ring is really cool.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I'm sure that game is in incredibly early stages, considering that they're building an entire new engine for it. Although, who knows how long that they've been working on that engine behind the scenes. But I think it's reassuring to see something out there and to see something that is like markedly different than what Halo 5 was. Like, I think if they came out there and like, showed a cutscene with Spartan Locke being brooding or some shit, I would have just lost complete hope. But it looks like they're not afraid to change the formula up drastically, and I'm glad for that. But
it's about time, really.
I'm really curious as to what that game is, especially since like I know before that they definitely said like, oh, after Halo 5 we're just going to stop numbering Halos because like numbers don't really serve us a purpose at this point.
I figured they were going with a 2 trilogies deal.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're not going to stop making Halo games until Halo games stop making money.
343 Studios. Why would you?
Yeah, but especially since Halo and Gears are about the 2 last bastions of like Xbox exclusive games. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that Mecha Switch game.
Switch, yeah.
That looks cool. Demon Ex Machina, which is a fucking great name. Obviously, the easy choice for me is Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's...
I was waiting for you to mention that. That's an easy choice for anybody that likes video games. Just, even if you haven't played The Witcher, like I haven't, like CD Projekt Red's reputation completely precedes them. And that trailer looks so good, and they've been working on it since 2013. You just know this is going to be something crazy. Yeah,
I think with this game, they have a really big opportunity to become... Like, if they knock this game out of the park in the same way that they knocked The Witcher 3 out of the park, which I think, they have every chance to do so, they could very well become a company on the level of Rockstar in terms of just, like, industry respect and prestige.
I mean, where Bungie and Blizzard used to be.
Yeah. But a lot of info has come out about that game post that trailer happening, which was a really fucking cool moment at the end of the Microsoft conference. Like,
it was kind of silly, but in the best video game silly way. It's E3. You got to pull something dumb.
It's fucking Cyberpunk. Like, of course they're going to have somebody like hacking in
a regular DOS prompt.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we found a lot more about that game now that they're letting press see it behind closed doors, and I'm apparently early impressions are all really good. It is a first-person game. There's no like traditional leveling system, so it's very much like the tabletop game where you're only leveling your stats.
I need to look into that tabletop game.
Tabletop game is among some of the most respected non-D&D tabletop games. And the thing that's most heartening to me is that they're like very much involving the original one of the original creators.
Yeah, he's very close with that. I knew that much.
Yeah. Full frontal nudity and fucking.
Cool. So that's very Cyberpunk of them.
It's a CD Projekt Red game. I'm trying to think of anything like any other. Oh, first person driving, which I am super into. Huh. I am like in person first person driving with like diegetic like windscreen UI, which is fucking awesome. Like that is exactly the type of like Cyberpunk shit. And like if you're driving cars like the one in the trailer, then like count me in. That car is fucking dope looking. So it's a really interesting thing like visually too, because it like very much blends like your sort of like traditional like 80s and 90s idea of Cyberpunk with like more modern stuff. Like it like there's very much like a lot of like Deus Ex.
I totally got
in
that
that
feeling.
Design. But like just from the music and like some of the design of the cars and the clothes and all that shit, it's like very clearly like, oh yeah, this is like an 80s inspired, almost like synthwave type of thing. But it's like fucking awesome because like one of the first shots of the game is you see just like bright sunlight and like it's very like it is anti-cyberpunk in all the right ways to where you're like, okay, this isn't just another cyberpunk thing. And it's very like pro-cyberpunk in all the right ways too, at least in that trailer's presentation. Yeah. So I'm super fucking into that game.
Yeah, there's a lot to be into. The other, like, there were a couple trailers that really grabbed me, but we can't talk about E3 without talking about the fact that we finally saw gameplay of Death Stranding.
True.
And still know nothing.
Well, gameplay.
Yeah, gameplay.
I don't know how much
Walking
gameplay that was.
With the flex track whip snake.
Somebody...
Did you not put that together? I totally put that in group chat, and I guess you missed it.
I'm so fucking mad.
You guys pause the episode on YouTube and just search
FlexTrek Whip Snake. It is exactly.
That was exactly what I thought when he had all
so
the
mad.
all the
God.
But no, so we saw.
So that's your backpack, huh?
Somebody needs to say that in the game. Please let
so good.
Let Mads Mikkelsen say that.
Oh my god.
No, but that trailer was super interesting because it started off with the same like normal weird what the fuck is going on, and we definitely got more of that. It's Kojima and it's Death Stranding, but you did get an idea of gameplay, and I feel like
we got I would
walking.
say it's less than gameplay and more just like traversal mechanics.
Well, there was the part at the end where he had like some sort of detector and the like umbilical cord goes and it looked like he was avoiding them and then failed.
Yeah.
So that seemed at least some of the like sneak mechanics in the game almost, but like we also got a lot of the music, which sounds amazing. Yeah. Like give me that soundtrack now.
We got two new characters that were introduced, both played by a immensely famous new actress and another one played by an obscure 70s action TV star. Lea Seydoux is from Spectre and Blue is the Warmest Color. I don't know who she's playing or what she's about, but her character design is fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was the other thing. So we got the super cool music and we got more character design in it. And that woman, she was the one with the umbrella
thing and the weird like punk bondage suit.
If they don't sell that umbrella somewhere, they're missing out on a lot of money.
Yeah.
But we got kind of a better idea of the holistic like visual style, and I'm at the point now where if after I beat this game, if I know anything more about it than I know now, I'm probably going to be upset.
Yeah.
I want it to like overwhelm me and I want it to keep me up at night.
Yeah, I want it to be like the equivalent of like a very out there art house piece.
I think that's what we're going to
get. I want to just be fucked up by it really bad.
Yeah, it made me, I didn't think it was possible, but I'm even more interested in it now after that trailer.
But also like I'm thinking about like what I think about when I think of Death Stranding now versus what I thought about when they showed like that first trailer with Mads Mikkelsen and like that one, and also the one with Mads Mikkelsen and Guillermo del Toro and like all that weird shit and like all weird like military stuff. Yeah. Like that seems completely separate from what we're seeing right now. I have no idea how they factor in.
I think we might have some like adjacent dimension hopping in the game just because of the way like people like faded in and out and some of the things that they said in the trailer. I think that might be a key part of it. Like maybe hopping timelines. We know we have something to do with a baby. Maybe we're going like butterfly effect on this.
Yeah, some things that I think people were able to glean from the trailer were like there's some sort of time traveling aspect to the game, or time, not manipulation, but like some fucking weird is happening with time. Maybe cloning. I think the implication in that trailer was that the baby on his chest was him.
Yeah, that's what I felt.
Which is fucking weird.
Which makes it even more strange when the woman at the end of the trailer goes, "Don't you know who I am?" or whatever she said. It's just like, no, I don't.
Yeah, no, I actually don't.
Are you the mother? Are you the baby?
I mean, I do.
Are you me?
You're the bionic woman, but like, that's the weirdest part about all this to me is that that woman does not look like that in 2018. She looks like a woman who acted in the 70s and is now appropriately aged. So they have not only motion captured her into that game, but they have aged her down to what she looked like when she was playing the Bionic Woman.
So really
down to the same hair. Just because Kojima fucking loves the Bionic Woman and the $6 billion man or whatever. Yeah, well, it's like it is exactly the type of like Kojima weird obscure Western culture fanboying that I love, because like it's this exact same reason why he fucking put the Bionic Woman sound effect into Metal Gear 5 when you use the punch.
Goes to show us Sony literally gave this guy a blank check and said, "Hey, fuck us up."
I for sure at some point thought that like this thing was going to get tamped down, but I think like Sony definitely sees the writing on the wall with just like, yo, if we let this dude go wild, then like he's going to do more PR for us just existing and doing his job than we could ever fucking do for this game.
I feel like there's no way this game turns a profit ever.
I don't know. Well, yeah, maybe, depending on how much they're spending on it.
But at the same time, I also know there's no way that this game doesn't make like a huge, massive mark on gaming history.
Yeah.
Like, it ain't even out yet. It probably won't be out forever, but it's gonna be massive.
It's already infamous and it hasn't even come out yet, and we don't even know what it is.
No, we really
don't even know what type of game it is.
Yeah, so it's a walking simulator.
The only other exciting thing that I keep forgetting and then subsequently remembering is that game is built on the same engine that Horizon is built on.
Yeah, which is great.
One made by Guerrilla, which is fucking incredible. Now it looks nothing like Horizon.
Good engine's a good engine.
It looks almost exactly like Metal Gear 5 in a lot of ways, because I think that's just the way that, like, Kojima literally took everybody from Kojima Productions and put him in this new Koji Pro. So it's like not surprising that visually and animation wise it looks exactly the same. But
this is the only thing I want to say Smash, because you mentioned Kojima Productions. If you remember in Melee, like, you know how everybody has a symbol behind them? It was Kojima Productions, you know, the fox.
Yeah.
Now in the new one in Smash Ultimate, it's the exclamation point.
Perfect.
So can't use that anymore.
Yep. Well,
I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, it's funny. So yeah, that's E3. I don't know if I have anything else I want to like. I mean, obviously,
There's
like
Last of Us.
Last of Us looks like Last of Us.
Yeah. I was surprised by, like, I played the first one more than once and I loved it, but I was surprised by, like, the visceral violence in it. Like, it's as hyper violent as God of War, but it feels more real.
It is Last of Us 1 was exactly the same way when you fought humans. It is you know, they're trying to get as real as possible with, like, they want you to feel things when you kill somebody.
When people ask me, like, what I think about The Last of Us, I don't normally tell them my, like, holistic feelings on them. I put it this way. I go, that's the only game where I could only play for, like, at best an hour and a half before I had to put down the controller because I was, like, shaken. Like, I would just become a bundle of nerves. Like, the game takes a lot out of you, and it's through the good storytelling what everything looks like.
Like, I'm definitely not one of these type of people that thinks it's, like, high art, but I think in terms of just in terms of a cinematic experience, it is, like, unparalleled. Like, even David Cage games, despite their shitty story, they're incredibly cinematic, and Detroit looks fucking unbelievable visually, but even those can't measure up to what we saw with The Last of Us 2. And if that combat that they showed is even half as fluid as it looked in the trailer, like, it's still going to be fucking amazing.
Refuse.
So,
but, you know,
but more importantly than all that shit, it is the year for gay women in games.
Yeah, that's pretty great. I mean, we got that. We got Assassin's Creed.
There's more that I know that I am definitely forgetting, but
we can lump Cyberpunk in there.
Cyberpunk almost assuredly will have...
Oh, you get to... there's a character creator in it, and you get to romance people.
There is no way that in a world where Ghost in the Shell exists, which has possibly the most famous lesbian cyber sex scene of all time, there's no way that will not influence Cyberpunk 2077 at some point.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way somebody in Poland will not, like, kick down a door and just be, like, holding the manga at that page, just be like, guys, look at this, the source material. Anyway, so the only other game that I, like, am super fucking excited about, despite the some fears I have about it, is Ghost of Tsushima, which is that a lot of people are calling it a samurai game. It's not a samurai game. It's a shinobi game. Yeah. It is literally about a samurai being... Well, it's about the invasion of Tsushima Island, which is off the west coast of Japan in whatever, like, the 8th century or whatever, by the Mongols, which is a real thing that happened. Yeah. So it's about you being a samurai, and you are almost killed, and your family is killed, and you abandon your honor and become a shinobi, which is a fucking great... Yeah. That's like some really cool classic samurai ninja movie shit. And the game looks incredible.
I got some Kurosawa vibes from it, which is exactly what you want from a game taking on a story like that.
Well, and I'm really excited to see the dichotomy of, like, how you play as a samurai and then how you play as a fucking ninja, which will be really awesome. So I'm very excited about that game. I do not have full confidence that Sucker Punch will not do some very racist shit along the way, but look...
Recognize it's problematic.
Even Japan doesn't give us samurai games of that quality. So I except for if they're Sekiro, which is that FromSoft game that I'm very excited about.
I'm not very good at those games.
That everybody thought was a Tenchu game, and it basically is a Tenchu game.
Yeah, it looks like it.
It's Tenchu.
I'm excited to see other people play that game.
I'm excited to play that game. I've only ever played one other FromSoft game and liked it, and it was Bloodborne. But that game,
it looks
like,
closer to Bloodborne than Dark Souls.
I read some really interesting shit about like how they're trying to differ the gameplay from Souls games in the sense that like they're trying to make it as like a sword fight as possible, in the sense that you're not slashing down someone's health bar, you're hitting against someone's block until they change posture enough to create an opening for you to get in. So it's like a lot more like one-on-one stuff apparently.
I just get frustrated at those games. And the thing is, I'm normally good at that type. It's just something about like, I don't know if it's like the weight of all the moves in those games, but Sekiro does look like lighter than the other games, especially because you have a grappling hook.
I think it's definitely been sold from that trailer, at least, that it's like a little bit more fast-paced and a little bit more like open than FromSoft games. So yeah, a lot of very exciting games announced at E3, and a lot of them like we actually know what they are finally.
Yeah, that's a plus.
Except for Death Stranding. But I just genuinely don't think that we ever will know what that thing is.
I don't think Kojima knows what it is. It is
Kojima's like fun celebrity block party at this point.
Like, okay. He's pulling a Tomino.
Yeah, he's literally
it's gotten away from him. He doesn't know when. He just needs to let it write itself out.
He's just making excuses to allow himself to hang out with all of his best friends from Hollywood.
You know what? We normally get a good product when that happens. So.
Which are apparently legion, because every time they fucking show a new trailer for this game, like there's 6 more A-list celebrities in it. Like
and
all of a sudden,
we get to look forward to them popping up on his Twitter and Instagram for the next half a year.
Yep. I don't even give a fuck about anyone but him and Mads Mikkelsen at this point. They have the most interesting relationship I've ever seen two humans have. And you know they can't talk to each other.
No, there's no way.
Like Kojima's English is nowhere near as good enough to hold a conversation.
I might have dreamt it, but I could swear I saw a picture of them just like playing darts with each other. Like,
it was probably on that really hilarious night of them just like fucking drunkenly stumbling across Tokyo, and Mads is wearing that like weird orange puff vest.
I hope if you 100% Death Stranding, you unlock the behind the scenes video that night.
Oh God, if only. All right, we should probably move on from E3 so we can talk about other stuff. Other stuff being fully progressive.
Yeah.
That has happened twice now.
It will be happening 4 more times.
Yeah. And actually, you know what we should do before we do that?
Take a break.
Yeah, take a break, and we're going to turn on some AC and let some AC fill up this room. So we will be right back with Fully Progressive and some other shit. So we'll be right back.
Yep. See you.
ガットは5番目のキーワード和むと書いてわびさびのアート和むレコードバリにインディペンデントでクージャパンなエレメントはどこの誰が何のナンバーワンなんでかんと言おうがあんたがやっぱ大将担いでわっしょい祭り林でマッシュラッシャイ名前聞けばわかるだろ死ぬ気で本気な TV 母さん We're on TV
All right everybody, welcome back. We're going to talk about Fully Progressive. That is a thing that happened twice now. We got
4 more times after this.
Yep, we got the first 2 episodes. Managed to catch them both live on Adult Swim, which is basically the only time I've ever justified my cable subscription, other than the fact that it's included in my rent.
I have not. I've been watching late. Legally, but late.
That's, I guess, the nicest thing about this is that Adult Swim has been putting them all up next day.
Not for free, though. The first one was available for free. The second one, you have to sign into your cable provider. But
that's the rub.
Amazon has them for $3. So I just
makes sense.
bought it for $3.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's way easier than trying to do the whole
It's literally like one click, you hit the purchase button, and it gets replaced with a play button. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
So I think we have pretty concurrent opinions on this, but which
is funny because I feel like our opinions run against the grain mostly.
Yeah. But I liked the first episode. I don't know if I'm comfortable to say I loved it. I definitely, it showed a lot of promise.
I liked it a lot, specifically that opening scene, because it's kind of, I wanted to be thrown in that way, especially after we've seen the first episode of season 3, where there was like nothing concurrent. Like to be thrown in and immediately have the imagery remind you of the original Fully was pretty good.
Not to mention some absolutely fantastic animation in that scene.
That helped.
And throughout most of the first episode, including, character animation and
it felt very Fully.
Yep. I'm glad that they did not wait to hit us with some Bahi JD. That was incredibly nice. But it was a very good looking first episode. I think it did a great job of introducing us to the respective characters. I really like Hidomi a lot as a main character.
It's funny because at the beginning of the episode I really didn't, but as she actually spoke more, I was just like, oh, I really like her.
Yeah, she has something she has a certain je ne sais quoi that I cannot put my finger on, and I don't know why I like her, but I do.
She's kind of tsundere, but like for the world.
Yeah.
Like you can tell like her stoicness is completely an act and like shatters at the drop of a hat.
Yeah. Overall, I think most of the first episode, and this is something I think that the second episode suffers from more. Most of the first episode was completely absent of any just like giant knock you over the head like references to the original series. At least the ones that they did do were purposeful. You could see why they did them, and weren't just like references to the original series in the service of driving the plot of this season. I'm totally fine with references to the original series just to say like, haha, remember that?
Yeah, we're full.
I really fucking hate that. Like it was the one thing that I really hope that this series doesn't fall victim to, because it's the type of thing that every like nostalgic thing falls victim to, is the nods to the original thing that are completely inconsequential outside of a nostalgia kick.
Yeah.
And I think the first episode accomplished that. It had some moments. Obviously, the ED is just one giant minute 30 long reference to the original series.
I liked, I think my favorite like reference that worked well in exactly the way you were talking about is towards the end of the episode when Hidomi's checking a line. Like it's, I don't remember how much of that was translated, but the line chat is for her
Almost
classroom.
None of it.
Yeah. So the line chat was for her classroom, and it was a bunch of people making puns, just like the original manga scene on Fully Cooley, until eventually it explodes. And at the same time, Hergo, rips her face off, and you know who she is.
It was
as the cacophony of everybody yelling Fully Cooley joins.
It was very evocative of the original series, I think, in the right way.
Yeah, that was definitely my favorite scene of the first.
Another scene that I really liked that was very evocative of the original series is Jinyu's introduction. When she really hits Hidomi with her car. We even have some like visual references to the original anime of like with the sort of black and white sort of time dilation thing. But really like the music that I'm hearing so far, especially in that scene, because this is a very different, obviously there's a very different Pillows than the one that originally did music for the original Fully Cooley, and it sounds appropriately very different. It's a little heavier. Like there's some more like metal influences in here than I thought. Especially during that scene, there was a lot more just like very like almost like grungy guitar in that scene, and it was very just like
I think
appropriate for Jinyu's whole aesthetic.
I think number one that new kind of style fits her as a character, but I feel like it fits the just the atmosphere of the show a bit, because while obviously the first one was violent, a lot of the violence and a lot of the imagery felt a lot more slapstick. In this, it doesn't. Like the entire first scene of the second episode was like that weird zombie thing. Yeah, that was violent.
We'll get to the second episode. The first episode obviously ended in very much the same way that almost all the episodes of Fully Cooley originally end, which is with a giant mecha fight.
Naturally.
I really liked the scene where she's sitting in her room and very concentrated in her own stuff, and then she just looks out the window and there's just like a robot out there looking back in her. That was like actually kind of scared me a little bit. I was just like, fuck.
Surprising.
But that entire scene is so impeccably animated thanks to Bahi JD again. There's the one thing I was hoping to see from this show, Sakuga wise, has so far definitely been delivered on, and that is like weird noodly tentacle cable animations. There has been no shortage of those, and Bahi JD is incredibly good at animating that type of stuff. It was also interesting seeing him do something that was like a little less stylized than most of the stuff that he usually does in terms of action animation. Like it was still very much him, but it was very much conforming still to the show's aesthetic. And honestly, I think
it was probably checked by the AD pretty hard.
Yeah. I think we are in an environment with Sakuga nowadays where like the type of just like completely off the wall, insane experimental stuff that made Fully Cooley what it is just not really possible anymore. But I think so far, at least with that first episode, I think they really showcased like the sort of modern equivalent of that, really just showcasing like sort of the net gen animators that they had working on that show.
It's funny because the type of animation that the original Fully Cooley had in the years after it, I wouldn't say become old hat, but much more normal.
Yeah.
Whereas
I mean, it became sort of the standard almost.
Yeah. Whereas this, I don't think we're going to see the same thing following Progressive, just because there's so much more anime, and I mean, it's not going to trailblaze. It's a sequel.
Yeah, I mean, it is not being made for the same reason, so obviously it's not going to be as experimental because it's serving a different purpose, and I've always knew that. But it's nice to see them giving a platform to these animators. I just hope that it stays consistent, because so far the second episode really not so much. I mean, like, it didn't look, I mean, parts of it looked bad. I'm just going to come out and say it. Parts of it did not look great, especially when compared to the first episode, but I'm hoping that it stays more consistent.
The thing that got me is there wasn't anything that stood out.
No.
More than not looking bad, like, when you watch Fully Cooley, you expect there to be some, like, absolute, like, show-stealing scenes.
Yeah.
And the second episode, not really.
The thing about Fully Cooley for me that always struck me is that despite the fact that it is so off the wall and zany and all over the place thematically, there's always an arc to every episode that you can see and follow easily.
Yeah.
Whereas the first episode had a incredibly clear, concise arc. You knew exactly what was happening at any given time in terms of the direction of the episode. Not necessarily in what the fuck was happening, but which is very Fully Cooley.
Yeah.
Whereas the second episode, it very much had the what the fuck is happening, but none of it was in, for me, a pleasurable way. And yeah, it was very hard to actually follow just from a directorial standpoint.
You always knew kind of the general point each episode was trying to make, and like who the episode focused on. This one, I thought, cool, it's going to be, what's the name of the male character? E.G. something? Hide.
Yeah.
They must have been calling him by his last name.
It's Hide and Hidomi. I don't know their last names.
But I thought the episode was going to be about him throughout most of it, like going through the like shanty town that he lives in and showing him working, and then like the scene in their room felt disconnected.
Yeah.
And then the entire last battle.
Every scene felt disconnected from the scene that was before it, in terms of where it was appearing in the story.
That's where it felt like it was trying to copy the original without any substance.
That, and also there are so many like little nods in that second episode that it, to me, as if, I honestly feel like the one major disadvantage that maybe we both have of literally having just watched and like completely analyzed Fully Cooley is that it's so fresh in my mind, so that like maybe I would be less angry about like all of the tiny nods that they're
been 10 years ago.
Yeah, but like, the two things that really stuck out to me were that they definitely did not need to do, that were so blatantly just nostalgia kicks for the original series, were when Hidomi's walking, she sees the robot from the previous episode, and it's a fucking crossing guard.
Yeah.
Didn't like that, because I'm just like, come on, guys. Like it's too on the nose. And then the other thing is that when Hidomi and Hide are in Hide's room talking, and Hide, the dive, he does the Lupin dive out of his clothes, and like the whole like the reason why that was cool in the original series is because it was referencing Lupin, like, and unafraid to do so, to the point where like they're literally just lifting designs in Sakuga from Lupin, and at that point you're just making a reference to a shitty offhand reference from the first thing, and like I get it, but it to me tells me that whoever chose to put that in there doesn't really understand what made the original Fully Cooley what made that good, and that scares the shit out of me, because if they don't understand that, then how am I expected them to understand like the greater themes?
I didn't take a close enough look at the credits. Maybe it was somebody different than episode one.
Clearly it was a different episode director, because the direction of that first episode was among some of the best things about it. It was fucking awesome. But yeah, no, I just, I'm still excited to watch more. It's just like the second episode really felt so disjointed for me. Also, the thing that bums me out the most is that the next episode is a beach episode, and like,
is it really? I didn't even notice.
Yeah, the preview was literally for a beach episode, and like,
it could bait and switch us.
I don't know. Oh, I guess the thing I should mention, like the biggest revelation that we've had so far is that, and it hasn't been implicitly said, but we've had references to it in the ED and also like in dialogue. Jinyu and the Haruko that we're seeing are two parts of the same person. And obviously you can see the arc of them somehow melding back together, and then we get the Haruko from season 3. who is just Haruko.
Yeah. I'm wondering if season 1, if the original Haruko is one half or the whole.
Well, I think the implication is that she's the whole, and then when
Adam
like
shows up,
the
she
whole
splits.
story of the ED is literally like the immediate, like what's happening immediately after the first series up until now.
Did she just show up in the ED? I already forgot.
So what happens is Haruko finds Adamasque, like actually assimilates his power, gains Adamasque's power, and then at some point you see Jinyu like almost like Naota does out of Kanti in the last episode, like reaching out and escaping from Haruko, and then you have this sort of weird, underpowered, like sort of, you know, it's. I just realized something. Okay, so, at the end of the first Fully Cooley series, Haruko leaves her base with Naoto, right?
Yeah.
She escapes with
his brothers, right?
No, with the double neck guitar that is Adamasque's and his.
Yeah.
Adamasque's guitar is red, his is white. Her guitar is red, Jinyu's is white.
There you go.
So there you go. And you know, if you want to
together.
dig even further into the symbolism, you can think like Adamasque is like this chaotic drive for ultimate power for her, and the white guitar Jinyu is like her sensible side, aka Naota's voice in her head, telling her to not be such a fucking weirdo. And that's how you can see the split, because like clearly like the Haruko that we're seeing is supposed to be like almost like a caricature. Like I think at this point, like she's so
I can see that she's only done the over-the-top stuff.
She's only done the over-the-top stuff, and also she like straight up loses in a fight, which is something that we never see her do.
That's very true.
Especially now that she supposedly has the ultimate power in the universe, which is Adamasque. I don't know. That actually, I hate that actually kind of brings me back in a little bit. Like I was kind of out on the story after that second episode, but I'm a little bit back in. But yeah, no, that the season, the episode 3 premiere or preview shows them having a beach episode.
That could easily be a 1-minute shot from the next episode.
Like I hope it is, because them like, you know, doing a jokey beach episode is such a on the nose trope that, like, you know, they didn't tackle it in the first one for a reason, because it was already such a ridiculous trope that like that happens in every, like, you know, middling long running anime. There's always a beach episode. And so like I hope there's something to subvert it, but like, you know, after episode 2 I don't have the highest hopes for, you know, because there is very little. There's always been very little subtlety in Fully Cooley, but like the measure of subtlety that we're getting here is different than the first series.
We'll see with the next one. For me, the biggest disappointment in this episode, to go back in our conversation a few minutes, is, you know, I sat there waiting for the big bombastic animation, and there was a perfect chance when Jinyu and Haruko are fighting, and they even do the like classic anime like DBZ, like different streaks of color. Yeah, and it just looked boring. I didn't. Like, where are we? Like,
I wasn't a huge fan of that either. Too.
That could have been like, such a cool fight, and it was boring.
And of all the anime that you could visually reference in Fully Cooley, like DBZ is about
I don't
as
even
far,
know if it was a DBZ reference,
but still, it's like it's obviously going to like you know, they did the same shit in Flip Flappers. Like it's obviously going to summon that imagery regardless of whether or not it was meant to. And like,
you got to make it visually interesting. Don't be like DBZ for real.
Yeah, and like honestly, the other thing is just like I'm finding some of the design to be fairly uninspired for like the mecha and the like, especially like the fact that Jinyu's car turns into a weird mecha. Like
that was kind of weird.
I'm not a huge fan of that. I think that's pretty corny. Like I don't know. Like the one thing that I always loved about Fully Cooley, it's like so timeless, is that like all of the designs are so fucking good, and you have what's his name, the fucking Flip Flappers director, doing mecha design on this. Like utilize him. Like clearly they. I don't know how much they utilize him.
Car mech if the Vespa does a similar thing.
I don't want that. I don't want any sort of dumb transformations, because like that's like the absurdity. The whole absurdity is the fact that you see just like a Vespa doing all this dumb shit, like flying into space. Like I would love to see a battle where a old ass Cadillac is utilized, where it doesn't turn into a mecha, because that's way fucking weirder. Did
it only turn into the mecha after Haruko hit it with the guitar, or was it before that?
I don't know. wouldn't be able to tell you because it's also been like almost a week since I've seen that episode.
I watched it earlier today and can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I still have hope for that series because like obviously every episode is going to be directed by a different person, so we're going to have ups and downs, and like it's just and obviously like if you like of course there's going to be good episodes and there's going to be bad episodes because like it's
and if,
this isn't going to be a fucking golden goose.
If alternative is bad, there's always progressive.
Well, if progressive is bad, there's always alternative. Yeah. I don't know. I think like progressive has definitely nailed the sort of like darker sort of like that sort of aspect of that. And then the first episode of alternative, which we've already seen, I feel like nails the other side of Fooly Cooly, which is this the like slice of life stuff.
I like the first episode of Alternative a lot better. Like I like the first episode of Progressive, but I liked Alternative a lot better.
I think for something that's supposed to bridge the gap, I think the first episode of Progressive is probably as good as you're going to be able to do. And like I had a lot of admiration for what they were able to put together. It's just like, man, please be more consistent with your production because like, fuck, how long have they had to work on this?
Yeah.
And like they're only making 6 episodes a series. Like this shit should be like the most immaculately animated thing in the world. And that second episode was so boring visually, especially when compared to that first episode. And like honestly, like if it was me, like the shit would be way wilder. But like, obviously they're taking a different approach with it. So I don't know.
Only time will tell.
Yeah, only time will tell. Check back in with us in another couple weeks, probably for more of that. So, let's talk about anime that we don't have to own a fucking cable box to watch.
Start with Die Neue These.
Yeah, Die Neue These. The German for the new these. The new these.
What does it actually mean? Thesis?
No. Yeah. I don't know. I've looked it up before. Let me look it up.
Really, it wasn't too interesting. So, of course, we're talking about Legend of Galactic Heroes, and we have interesting different viewpoints on this because I'm a huge fan of the original, and I've been reading the books as they come out in English, and Mark's eyes are fresh.
I have fresh version eyes.
So, are you caught up?
I am.
So
I enjoy it.
Where people are listening out, spoiler, we are totally in spoiler zone now for everything else.
The new thesis.
Alrighty.
Spoilers for anything that is airing this season.
So
ultra retroactive spoilers for Fooly Cooly Progressive.
Where we're at now is they're dealing with a fallout from actually properly taking Easterlund Fortress, and the Alliance has decided to go through with an invasion into Empire territory.
Yeah.
And at the spearhead of that is a young douchebag.
Yes.
Fuck.
Yeah, he's a real fucking piece of work.
Yeah, so I guess we haven't talked about this anime at all. I don't even know where to start holistically.
Have we? Not? I feel like we talked about it last episode.
Well, we did. The last episode was a preview. I don't think we've had a proper this season episode.
Have we?
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Maybe like one or two things that aired already.
Fucking hell, has it really been that long?
Yeah, and we're like almost done with the season. We suck.
Yeah, Jesus.
We're awful. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Can't promise we'll do better next season, but sorry about that. So for me, I'll start because I had a basis. Legend of Galactic Heroes for me, and I'm sure I've said this on the show before, is one of those things where people like ask me my favorite anime or what the best anime are. I never reply with that one. Just number one, because it's a huge, massive undertaking to watch, and number two, it's unlike most other things in the medium. Like it doesn't really hold up in comparing because it's an old school space opera. Like it's in the purest sense, it is just using anime as a medium to tell the story.
Yeah.
This one feels a lot more anime. I don't know if that's better or worse.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a more
I think it's more anime, but not by much, because compared to literally
it's
every
so dry.
it is dry as a bone.
Yeah, it's so dry, but I like it.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
it's a good dry.
I am definitely enjoying it. The only thing I will say is God bless anybody that doesn't actually know about the original series that's been watching this, because they're out there. And I pity them, because I feel like if I were to watch this having no knowledge of the original series or that it even exists, I would be like...
One of the things I want to know from an old school viewer to a new one is like, are you easily able to keep up with what's going on?
Yeah.
Is it losing you? Yeah.
No, it's
throwing
cogent
at you isn't.
No, it's cogent. Like I have not needed to look up one thing.
Okay.
Like
good.
it is
I think so. It seemed
easy
pretty
as
good
hell to
because
follow.
The first one was good at that too.
Like obviously they throw a lot of characters at you that
Most of them
have
don't matter.
almost no consequence, and like
The
they're
reason
just
I do that is
names.
because almost all of them, just like Romance of the Three Kingdoms, come back 6 books later.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I've been enjoying it. I'm definitely a Yang fan. I'm definitely more on his side than the Empire.
Reinhardt has not had a lot of time to shine other than being good at his job in this. Like
Everything that I have heard from fans of the original series have said that their portrayal of Yang is infinitely better than their portrayal of Reinhardt.
Well, Reinhardt in the original, he is much like this. He's a blonde brat. Like he's gonna get what he wants, and spoilers, he does become the Emperor.
Yeah.
As soon as he does that and he turns into governing mode, you see a lot of his like morally better side, and I don't think we're gonna get here in Dynamite Taser. We got some time ago, even though we have the current Golden Bomb Dynasty Emperor saying, yeah, sure, let him have it. Fuck.
Who knows? That was a really great scene.
But, that was fantastic.
Who knows what the future of this new
We've got a
reboot-
movie after this, I think.
Yeah,
Like a couple movies or something.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I mean,
I have no idea where it ends either.
yeah, because we only have 2 more episodes now.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're literally about to invade. They're arguing over what they're going to do, and I think the last episode ended with Reinhardt saying, "Let them come in," and then we encircle them.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it'll be very interesting to see where the future of the series goes, because as it stands right now, I have fucking no clue what. Like I don't know how have you seen at all how well it's selling in Japan? Like
I have no idea. I've been in such a huge bubble lately. I know which idols Japan likes.
It's also incredibly hard for me to judge this thing's popularity over here, considering that like half of my Twitter now is just like inexplicably.
We've surrounded ourselves with
Legend of Galactic Heroes fanboys.
We surround ourselves with the type of people who like Legend of Galactic Heroes and the people who do really like it.
Yeah,
like we don't have a lot of outside looking in. That's an interesting thing to talk to other people about, because we're the type of person that likes political dramas.
Yeah,
like it's one of those things, and this show is not heavy on action. The couple of action things it does, it does.
In fact, the action that it does, I would
okay.
say in terms of like space battles is not great. So
that's a bummer to me, because in the original, one thing that this one isn't doing that the original did is getting up close and personal with the fighter pilots.
Yeah,
we have cut out all those characters; they haven't been around, and that's a huge bummer.
Well, that's also the weirdest thing, because that is literally alluded to in the opening of the show, and I don't know if it's just something that they have cut for time.
That's
or
a huge shame, because not only is it an interesting thing visually to show like dogfights in space, but some of those characters were really good, because you have all these politicians on both sides talking about the people. They talk about the numbers. Like in the last episode, they threw out, oh yeah, we got 31 million people doing this thing.
Yeah,
you don't see any of that 31 million, but in the original, when you had the fighters, like those are the common man. These aren't the officers; they're the enlisted, and they give a face to the people worrying about that stuff. And we're getting zero of that here. Yeah,
I don't know. It's I will also say that I am biased about the space combat, because I'm just like usually never a fan of like the fucking giant there's 30 million ships on each side, and they all look exactly the same, and it's all just like fucking massive amounts of like laser beams and shit. Like it's never my type of space combat, but that's more of a personal preference thing. Like I called it Ender's Game ass space combat at one point, and it's very much the similar type of thing. Yeah. No, but I've been enjoying it. I mean, as much as somebody who's never seen that original series can enjoy it, I've just been kind of taking it for what it is, and hoping for the best. And so far, it's been an interesting ride. I'm at it solidly. This is worth watching as a viewer of the original, and I'm glad I'm doing it. But the original is way better. Obviously. I really try to go at it with an open mind, but I'll be honest, the second they started playing music that wasn't classical music, I was just like, you lost. Yeah. That was a big part of the first one. Yeah, that's the other thing, as I will say. Like, the soundtrack's boring as shit. Yeah, it's really boring. And it's like the same 3 songs. Yeah, and they're like, what upsets me is they're trying to emulate the classical music that would have been in those. And you can't rewrite classical music. No. You aren't. Well, you can't also just like automatically Shostakovich. You aren't. Stop trying. Yeah, you can't just like make music that is automatically on par with
The classics. Yeah. It's funny though because the Free Planets Alliance theme that shows like every time they go back to what's the name of their planet? The home one.
I should know this. I knew it at one point. Yeah.
The thing is, like, I can hear like the original narrator saying it in Japanese, like "Dome wakse no," and I just like I'm blanking. But like every time they go back to the Free Planets Alliance, that's the theme that they use in the original, just like the and the horns and the which is cool that they got that, but that's all right. Yeah, it's a good show.
I also like, and like I don't know if this is just a reflection of the source material or like just Japanese culture in terms of like what they think of democracy as, but like it's hilarious every time that Yang is like always emphasizing like, oh yeah, we have a free military under a free government, and it's just like this is like the most fucking like fascist dictatorial freely elected government I've ever fucking seen. Like
that's because that's the big question that the original poses. It's okay, we have a democracy, but it's corrupt as hell. Is democracy by definition better than a dictatorship? Because Reinhardt's a good dictator. He's fair to the people. He's fair to the nobles under him. Yeah. He's by all means the best dictator you could ever hope for. But is that
he's still a dictator
fundamentally better or worse than democracy when the democracy has gone to shit?
Yeah. The classic question.
It's a big one, and the original takes 110 episodes and several movies to fully explore it.
Indeed it does. All right, I'm just going to start running down my list because there's a lot of these shows that I know you're not watching.
Like Lupin.
I will not say too much about Lupin, the third part 5, because like what can you say about Lupin that hasn't already been said?
It's good.
It has been incredibly good. It is
better than part 4?
Oh my god, so much better than part 4 already.
Good. I liked part 4, but it could
part 4 lost the plot a little bit with making a fucking Lupin series. Like this is a Lupin series. The most interesting thing to me is that they have had multiple flashback episodes to like even before Lupin was Lupin.
Really?
Like even before he was wearing the jacket. Like it's been a whole like this whole arc. The whole series is set in France, and so there's been a lot of like very like French and Europe centric type of stuff happening, and like the sort of main overarching story arc this season, outside of all the like individual episodes, has been telling the story of Lupin and his former incredibly sassy gay partner, who he used to.
That sounds fantastic.
It is very good. And it is, it is a modern Lupin story for modern times. The first arc that they presented in this series was really fucking good too. Had to do with like shit like cryptocurrency and like drone. It was like really weird, and you would think that type of thing would be forced, but it just felt like Lupin.
Lupin growing with the times is an interesting idea.
It is incredibly interesting. But the other really interesting thing that it's about, the most exact opposite thing of that first arc, is they have not only have they given a lot of flashback episodes to like before Lupin was Lupin, but they've given a lot of flashback episodes back to like other eras of Lupin. Like this most recent episode was a Red Jacket series flashback episode.
Oh, that's cool.
Where he was wearing a red jacket, and like it was so weird because every time they do a flashback, one of the things that they constantly do is they characterize Fujiko differently based on whatever era it's set in. So like in the first arc, she shows up and it's modern day. And of course she's like this badass female secret agent who like, just completely has Lupin like tied around her finger. Mm-hmm. And she's the one that's always in control. She's like this, almost like this, like not ghost, but like, this sort of, very much the type of Fujiko that the woman called Fujiko Mine set up. And then there's most recent episode, and there's also an episode where, like a comic relief episode that are both Red Jacket series flashback episodes, where Lupin has to crack a safe that locks if you're above a certain IQ, and that certain IQ is 01. So he literally spends the entire episode like trying to dumb himself down with like head trauma just to like it's a really stupid.
Sounds like such a fantastically self-aware Lupin.
It is incredibly good, but both times Fujiko has just been this like novice, prissy, like the one thing that I hate about it is that of course there's like a ton of shit that is like just Lupin just sexually assaulting Fujiko,
he's
and like
pretty pervy.
Yeah, and he doesn't do that in any of the new shit. So it's like they're almost like trying to draw a huge line in the sand between like this is old Lupin and this is what new Lupin
back
is.
up though, because wasn't part of the drone thing him trying to peek on somebody on a nude beach?
No, that's part of the opening.
Oh, okay.
And the opening is him and Jigen blasting off into space in their Fiat and then hacking into a satellite and using it to peep on Fujiko lying topless on a beach.
Okay, that's pretty good.
It's really good. I mean, it's shitty, but it's like exactly the kind of shitty that you want to see from Lupin.
It's Lupin. Lupin, I like... never mind.
No, it's this most recent episode is fantastic because it's just a classic Red Jacket series where they go deep into the South American jungle to find a dead drug lord's hidden car collection. And then Lupin literally has a race in a Lamborghini Murcielago with his ghost and then fights the Brazilian army. It's fucking awesome. It is fucking awesome.
That's getting put on the to-do list.
It is the best new Lupin series in a long time. Like, it's probably my favorite one that I've seen other than...
I liked 4, but I mostly liked it because I liked Rebecca as a character.
4 was okay, and it also had some really interesting production stuff happening, like fucking Shinya Ohira popping up more than once in fight scenes, which was super weird. But this is a lot more of a concentrated production. They're taking very much the same sort of approach as Megalobox of just like trying to make it as solid as humanly possible, and because it's TMS, it's so they're insanely solid, and they all look like Lupin, and they're all... Everything's been really good so far, so I've been super happy with it.
You mentioned before we move on, you mentioned Shinya Ohira. Are there any like standouts animation-wise in Part 5?
Not really.
That's a drawback to TMS. Like you're going to get a solid product that looks good, but you don't have anything to blow you away.
There's a lot less experimentation happening on the production end, which I'm fine with because it's just so insanely
every
consistent.
show has to be Sakuga.
And it is so insanely consistent. And like, yeah, Lupin has not necessarily been known for Sakuga since like Part 2. So, and even then it was like very comedic, but like it's also not like, there's tons of standout like character animation and action. Yeah. It's just none of it is something that you're going to be like drooling over. So, okay. But that's what happens when you have to, you have to do something like this and also keep to a visual theme that has existed for 50 plus years. Fair. So, I don't think we need to talk too much about Gundam Build Divers.
This one has a cat girl in it, though. So cool.
It does have a cat girl in it, though, but it is a different show than the first two Gundam Build Fighters series. So much so that I am enjoying it significantly less because it is. That's a bummer. It is honestly like Gundam's take on Sword Art Online in a lot of ways. Like it's nowhere near as dark. But it is literally Isekai Gundam. Like that's.
It seemed like to me in the little bit I watched that there wasn't going to be much of an overarching plot. It's more like go in there and deal with the problem of the week.
There is an overarching plot, but I am still not convinced that overarching plot is even as interesting as what was essentially Gundam sports anime for the first 2 seasons. Yeah. Like I still find myself longing for that type of feeling because it allowed them to get a lot more bombastic than like the series has just been very toned down thematically from the previous 2.
That's right, because the did you ever go back and watch the episode 0?
No.
Because episode 0 was it was the finals battle between like the character that becomes their like guide or whatever his name is. It was between him and the like mouse looking dude.
Rommel.
I watched the first I watched episode 0 and then I think the first 3 episodes. And
it's also one of those things where like they just happen to run into like every single incredibly famous person on their server, and then like
you know what it sounds like to me. It sounds to me like it's a kids show.
It is a kids show, but like
the other ones were too. But there's kids anime that are kids anime, and then there's kids anime that have a wink and a nod to adults and are very good.
Build Fighters has always transcended being just a kids show, and this is not necessarily doing that. And it's a bummer, but it's not like I'm not enjoying it still. I mean, and like the fact that they have a character who is literally just an open transvestite and is never once made fun of for it.
That's pretty awesome.
And it's really cool.
The one character I liked, and this more has to be with me being me than the character being good, is the like shop attendant's sister.
Yeah.
And that's only because that's Kanai Ito, and she's literally playing the same character she plays in Prepara. Like it's the same exact character. I'm like, this is great. She doesn't show up in a lot of stuff anymore, so any Kanai Ito I can get, very happy with.
True. Yeah, I don't think I need to say any more about that. It's, it's a show. Megalobox.
Kate Koyo. Let's go.
That fucking show.
It's going down in history. This is way up on my list of good anime.
Yeah, it is a very special thing that should not have been made in 2018 because it is very much like a 1998 anime trapped in amber.
It took 50 years for a good anime anniversary project to happen. I'm glad it was Ashinojo's.
Of course, it's Ashinojo's too. Like that makes total sense because Ashinojo's
beating all expectations.
Yeah. It is incredible. Again, it's another TMS show. It is incredibly consistent. It has a approach to animation and the visual style of the show. It looks so crazy. The fact that they're downscaling it and then up-resing it again just to make it look old is so fucking crazy to me. Like that's such a weird experimental approach to.
It's either that or drawing cells again, and nobody's doing that shit.
I don't think anybody knows how to do that shit.
That's a big thing. Like not only that, but nobody supplies enough celluloid.
Yeah. So it's just it's a crazy thing. Like I don't know how much I can say about it because it's just it's like one of those anime that's just so fucking good.
This might be one where it'll be better to talk about when it's completely over.
Yeah, that's true because we still don't know a whole lot.
And there's the scene coming up that everybody who's they're into anime, they know the scene from Ashinojo and they know how much it's been. I'm not gonna say parodied, but referenced. Like if you've seen more than 5 anime, you've seen how this is going to end.
It is one of those things that is completely able to get into your head through cultural osmosis alone. Like they sell a fucking figure of it.
Yeah,
like
it's a big deal
of the moment,
and it's so good. I'm getting goosebumps remembering the first time I watched Ashinojo and realizing how many anime I've seen that were referencing this. Like honestly, this pivotal moment in anime history. Yeah,
but like. It's just it's like one of those shows where like every single character that you see on screen is incredible.
So realized.
They're so realized. They're all like such people. They're not like anime characters. They're fucking people.
It's a good show.
Yeah, it's really
talk about
really
good
special.
show versus good anime. This is the type of thing you can show anybody, even if they're one of those like shitty anime haters. Tie them up, sit them down in front of Megalobox. They'll begrudgingly go, "Wow, this is really good."
A lot of people are rightfully drawing Cowboy Bebop comparisons, I think, because it definitely is following in that show's footsteps in a lot of ways in terms of production and music and just generally like breaking from the norm in so many different ways. But I think the biggest comparison that you can make to it is that Cowboy Bebop and Megalobox are both exactly the type of show I would show people that don't like anime to get them into anime.
100%. I have already done that with
and
Megalobox.
That is special because I don't know if I would name another anime that has come out probably within the past year that I would do that with as much as I would do it with
I think the last one I would do that with was Erased.
Yeah. And even that one like kind of goes off the rail towards the end. So, but yeah, no, it's Megalobox is fucking incredible. The only other thing I will say, speaking of music, I am currently working on a video about Megalobox's music to go up on our YouTube channel probably sometime next week. So.
I have not spent a single day since the first episode came out where I didn't listen to the ending.
Yeah.
Nakamura Eri comes up on my YouTube autoplay almost as much as Maria Takeuchi. They're like hand
Plastic
in hand.
Love, truly the anime of the season.
Yeah, like
fuck.
That song comes up so often. I'm always so happy with it.
Yeah, we need we just need like a city pop anime.
Oh, dude. We sat down together and watched the first episode of Megazone a couple years ago. We should finish that.
Yeah,
you don't get much more city pop than Megazone.
Is pretty fucking city pop. I'm not going to say basically anything about Gurazeni.
I watched the first episode and I admired their angle, but I really got tired of literally every other sentence being money.
This show would be incredibly boring to anyone that's not me, but this is the type of show that I love because it is finally giving me some sort of new perspective on like sporting in Japan. It is it is like on the same level of Yoapeda in terms of like teaching me about the sport of baseball and how it's played in Japan. Like the amount that they delve into like the minutia of what it means to play in Nippon professional baseball is like so incredible in that show. And like that is the exact type of shit. Like it is less about playing baseball and more about like being what it is to be a professional baseball player in Japan. And it's like cool. Crazy because it's like so much more of like a fucking Wild West, like off the wall environment than the MLB.
I really like the idea of it, and from the first episode, I did like the insight, but literally like every other sentence was just an amount of yen.
Well, that's literally. That's
how they do.
That's but that's also like what the title is. Like,
yeah, it's gross and amount of money. Yeah, I get it.
So, but I really like it. It's ironic that it has some of the best opening and ending this season.
Yeah,
and nobody's
really
watching it.
Music. Yeah, those are some fucking slaps.
But it's a Dean show, so it looks like shit. There's awful CGI all over the place, but it's never been so bad where I've been like, come on, guys. It's just it's a fucking Studio Dean sports anime. What are you expecting? But I like the main character whose name is fucking Bonda Natsunosuke, which is a hell of a name.
Bonda-kun.
And I just like the premise of the show. Like it's almost like watching a documentary series about like an NPB player. Like it's that in depth. Like it's literally like Law and Order in the sense that like only the names have been changed.
Do they ever touch on characters going to the MLB?
Yes, they touch on characters going to the MLB, and one of the biggest things they touch on is the fact that that Nippon Professional Baseball has a set limit per team of how many foreigners can be active on the roster. Yes, I did know about that. And they go like really far into that, and in fact, they have an entire episode dedicated to a black dude from the U.S. named Miguel, who's like a relief pitcher from their minor league team that every once in a while gets switched up onto their team to throw a game, and then they put him back down. And there's this whole like political situation happening where like this star player from the US, they're trying to sign him to the team, and if he gets signed, then of course the writing's on the wall for Miguel. So like Miguel is like talking to Bonda because they're both the same thing. They're both left-handed middle relief pitchers. Yeah. And so like Bonda basically just like he helps him out. Like he literally like travels with him to the games and like helps him out like at the advice of his manager. And like it's like this really like heartwarming thing. They even have like a scene where they are riding their bikes to the Jingu Stadium, which is where where the Swallows play. But in the series, they're the Spiders.
Naturally.
And they ride past the Yasukuni Shrine, and Bonda's oh yeah, this is the Yasukuni Shrine. You've probably heard of it. And he's just like, oh yeah, I have heard of it. And then he just goes, may the USA and Japan never go to war again. And like they keep riding. I was just like, oh my god, this series is so weird.
Yeah,
but it's just it's just very interesting. Like it is the type of anime that I am fucking shocked that ever got made, because this will make no money. It will not be successful in any measure.
It's like all those crazy. Like this is something I expect to be a manga. 100%. You can make a manga about anything, and there's a niche.
It is a manga for sure. Like,
yeah, it's just surprising that it got an anime.
Yeah, incredibly surprising.
It might be a pet project for somebody.
I'm sure it also cost no money to make, considering that the show is not labor intensive at all. But I'm glad they made it, because it is at least something new. It's not another high school baseball anime, and that's cool.
Yeah. Before we move on from that, I wanted to mention the other baseball anime this season, Major. I dropped that after episode 1 because I felt beleaguered by the story, because it, of course, is about the son of the son and the daughter actually of the main character from the first Major, where of course is named that because he eventually pitches in the MLB.
Yeah.
But I was really upset because the first episode was him like trying out for his team and being like just absolutely awful at pitching. I'm just like, it's just going to be one of those have to train really hard. And I caught a glimpse on Twitter the other day where I was proved completely wrong. He becomes a catcher.
Oh.
So it's like a huge baseball story from the catcher's POV, which is super
That's
cool.
pretty cool.
Because, you know, in manga, like 90% of them are about either a heavy hitter or a good pitcher.
Yeah.
And catchers are very important. So it's really cool that they flipped on that. I'm still not watching it, but I'm just glad they did that. It's not because it's bad or anything. I've seen one episode. I have no idea. I just don't have time for another baseball thing.
That? Yeah. Another good show, Record of Grand Crest War.
Yeah.
That show is fucking...
It's like the... I
bonkers
feel
off
like
the wall.
they tricked us with the first couple episodes because I liked them because like fantasy is my thing.
Yeah.
And then it got really good.
Yeah.
I didn't have to like peek my head out the door and say I like Grand Crest War. I can go, no, I like this show. It's
great.
Is
a completely fitting modern spiritual sequel to Lodos War. Like it is exactly the type of thing that you would want. And now that Lodos War is on Crunchyroll and I've been seeing some gifs from that shit, I am definitely going to go back and watch it.
I love Lodos War so much because that was one of the first ones I bought at FYE at West Shore Mall. Because it was on sale.
It's a dated statement.
Looking back and going back to watch the first few episodes again, I realize now Lodos War is literally somebody's D&D campaign that they turned into a book. No, I'm not even kidding.
No, I believe you.
Like it's original. It's D&D AE. I can even tell enough that it's from fucking AE, and I'm just like, holy crap. So it's cool. That
this shit is somebody's Risk campaign. Really.
Pretty much. This is clearly a tactical RPG.
Yeah.
But it's really good. I mean, there's
or like somebody's Civ 5 match.
Yeah. It's awesome. You know, it's catching me off guard. All the characters, like the character drama is really good. Spoilers here when the sister character shows up and, you know, was forced to attempt to murder them.
Yeah.
That played out really well. Like I was playing a game on the other screen and I had to pause it and look over and be like, no, you can't do this. No. And I was like screaming at the screen. I was like, oh my God, when did the show get so good?
I was so
into it.
I was so pissed, and I'm so glad that they figured out a way. Like these last few episodes have been fucking brutal because like Aisha almost died and I was just like about to fucking have a heart attack because she is absolutely my favorite character in that show.
She's such a
for
badass.
Fucking obvious reasons for anybody that knows me.
She's a Mark character.
Yeah, she's very much a Mark character for sure. And then what's her name? The Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail
was killed by the Pope, which is a thing.
But they had properly foreshadowed that though, because when they were talking at the fountain before, it was like, I'm kind of in the way of this guy. That's why I'm hanging out with you guys, not back with the church.
The only thing that I feel like they might have rushed a little bit is the whole process of gathering everybody under Teo. Like
that definitely went quick. I think I think we went through like 8 books in like 6 episodes in the beginning here.
I understand why, because obviously you only have so much. You only
have
so much time, but like. Yeah, like the fact that it literally just went like that for like literally all of the forces of the entire continent to gather under this one dude. But
reading comments about it online, that's the number one gripe. And as somebody who hasn't read the books, it felt a little rushed, but not so much that it ultimately took away.
It's not breaking my disbelief in any way. It's just like I had to step back for a second and just be like,
I believe the show would be better if it was 30 something or maybe even 50 something episodes, but I'm not too upset that we're getting 2 cores.
Yeah. I really like Teo and Sistina's whole arc throughout that whole thing, and I also really like
her dad.
I'm also super fucking glad that this show was not afraid to just fucking set what's her name and God, I literally
had a
lot
of names in the
I
show.
literally had Alexis and the fuck is her name? He says it all the time.
Yeah.
I'm so mad. Anyway,
there's a lot of names in
I'm glad that like this show was not afraid to like. You don't have to fucking always murder one of the tragic lovers. They could just... I mean, like, I have no doubts that one of them will probably die by the end, but...
Well, they threw out... Like, they literally changed the entire map to have these two be together.
Yeah.
Which is just fucking fantastic. And then the stupid bit... I say stupid because my heart melted and I loved it.
Oh, it was awesome.
The whole thing with, like, how he... God, what's the word I'm looking for?
How he, like, commands his troops.
No, well, yeah, that part, but how he... how he courted her
Yeah.
originally with like the petals
Yeah.
outside her window, doing that with the troops, which is like, oh
Yeah.
my god, Alexis, you sexy son of a bitch.
I love that the whole idea of like gathering men under a crest almost allows sort of like a artistic trait to
Yeah.
each army. Like
It's such a video game.
the fact that what's his name, like Lassic David, is like he's framing every battle to his troops as like a Shakespearean drama.
Yes.
And like we all have our part to play in this grand play and all this shit. And
If the
yeah,
curtain
and,
falls on you, then
yeah, and Alexis is literally like painting the
painting.
battlefield with his command of his troop. Like it's so cool.
cool. They
It's-
better make a video game of this.
Yeah. The only other thing I will say is that some episodes have looked rough.
Oh yeah. no, for
Oh
sure.
my god. Like
Even sorry, go on.
like just the episode where they're fighting like the Viking King is one of the worst looking things I've seen
Yeah,
this year.
that was
Like
awful because it was so cool.
it was such a great moment and it was completely undercut by the fact that it looked like it was animated in MS Paint.
Yeah, no.
Like
that
it
was
looked like a
really bad.
YouTube poop. Like
I hope this is one of those shows that gets fixed on Blu-ray.
I
I could
wouldn't be
totally
shocked if
see.
it
I could
wasn't.
totally see like NIS America or something releasing this
Yeah.
in a box set. I would buy this in a box set.
Oh, I would buy the
an
shit out of
American
this.
price box set, not a Japanese.
You know,
price
this is
one.
a thing that I also wouldn't be surprised if Crunchyroll released through Funimation.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because Crunchyroll goes after the weird ones.
they do.
They
Grand
go
Cross War,
after.
it's good.
If they can release the fucking Testament of Sister New Devil on Blu-ray, then they can fucking
That
release
had
Grand
anime
Cross
titty
War.
money.
Yeah, the most mighty dollar. Katana Maidens is still a good show. I don't really want to spend
I love
too much
where they
time
went
on
with
that.
because I remember us the last time we talked about it is when the first half ended and both of us were just like, where the fuck is this going? Like this ended. I love where they went.
I fucking love Origami Yukari so much.
She's another Mark
so cool.
Yeah.
She's so fucking cool. And the fact that she's just like kind of like not moping, but like just kind of existing in the
Dealing with it,
background
yeah.
and sort of trying to uplift
She's
everyone.
like, look at all the shit I had to deal with for 12 years.
Like it is so amazing when you see a character that is a villain, but for a very noble reason, and then becomes a character where you finally see what their actual true nature is, and they're just like
Just good.
amazing.
Yeah,
Like
she's a paragon of everything good.
I love her, and I love the fact that she just uses 2 swords. That's like
Yeah.
the coolest shit.
Because they're all like bound. Like those swords aren't regular swords. Like
Yeah,
they
no,
yeah,
it's crazy. Every moment with her in it is fucking awesome. Also, the moment where Princess Ikishima,
Yeah.
Ikishima,
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. Yeah, sure, whatever her name is. The one with the really long name.
Yeah.
Fuses with what's her name?
Already forgot.
With the Chinese sword.
I know exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking about. I just forgot.
That shit
That
was
looks
dope.
so cool.
That with
Like-
the like flowing hair.
Yeah,
and the one
the
eye.
thing for me is like as soon as they showed those characters, the 3 princesses,
Yeah.
Tagetsuhime.
What a
but
great
separated, like,
concept too.
they look so much like some of my favorite designs out of Japan. The Kantai Collection Abyssals.
Yep, the Abyssals.
I was just like, oh fuck yeah, I love
Well-
those designs. It's the same reason I like the Klaxosar design. It just
And
looks
it
like that.
will literally surprise no one that this is the precursor to a phone game. So
yeah, like you
yeah.
can see where the phone game's coming out of this, but no, I'm
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I'm not gonna pretend like it's the greatest thing ever or it's doing anything
no.
new, but I fucking love the show.
It is filling the exact same void that was left in my heart by recreators. It is an anime ass anime.
is, yeah,
And
it's
I
very
love
good,
anime
yeah.
ass anime, and this is an anime ass anime. Also, just completely unproblematic. Just girls being girls.
Girls being girls,
What's
fighting
better?
stuff.
What's better than this?
Yeah.
Girls being girls.
I'm glad that there's not some like shitty dude self-insert like you so often see with these like anime phone games.
There's one dude, and it's the American grandpa man.
Yeah.
And he's great.
It showed a couple other parents.
Who fuck
but yeah,
fuck them all.
Yeah,
It's just about the girls.
it is. No, it is.
about
I
them
mean,
girls.
they're shrine maidens.
Yeah. It is a great concept.
very
It's a great
fun show.
series. And please God release that game in English because I really want to play it. Because those girls are
I wouldn't be
good.
surprised if this is a game Crunchyroll picks up after they did Danmachi. I don't know if it's popular enough
Please
to warrant
do.
that, but
It
it'd be cool if they
is
did.
those designs are all fantastic and
Well,
I
the game
love
looks fun.
I love all of those girls and I want to fight the Aradama with them.
Yes,
They're great.
Yeah, that show's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Speaking of a lot of fun, My Hero Academia. I know you're not caught up on the
I'm not
last
caught
two
up, but I've read the
episodes,
manga,
you know
so
what's
you can talk
happening.
freely.
So
Did the Utapon scene show up?
No.
That'll be this weekend.
Yeah, that'll probably be this weekend because Yutaka Nakamura's cut was among one of my favorites, among some of my favorites, simply because of its absurdity. Because he basically animates Bakugo like it's someone throwing a stick through the air.
Oh,
he's just like rigid.
Oh, it was that scene?
Yeah, it's so good. But basically, like in the past couple episodes, we have basically had our first look finally at All for One, which is the
big bad,
the
BBEG.
mythological negative equivalent to All Might's positive in All for One. And so, we finally see him, All Might's doing battle with him, but basically the whole arc is about rescuing Bakugo from the League of Villains, because he's kidnapped after the camp arc, which is, I think, among some of the weakest material I've seen in My Hero Academia so far.
Because you didn't like the Wild Pussycats.
Because they suck.
I like
Sorry.
them.
I like the dude.
Yeah.
The rest of them suck.
I like them.
Yeah, so the whole arc is about rescuing Bakugo. I don't know. I only really have one moment that I want to talk about, and it's the fact that the only way that they could get Bakugo to agree to his own rescue is to have his basically his gay friend hold out his hand, and the only person that Bakugo likes and respects.
I still hate Bakugo as a person, but I love the characterization here, because they found a way, like, everybody's wondering while they're reading or watching this, like, there's got to be a good reason for Bakugo to be such a shithead, and the answer is no, there isn't. He's a shithead. Yeah. Like, that's it. Like, they give you some of the backstory here, and they do it, like, much later in the manga. They give you even more, and it's just, he's just a shitty kid, but goddamn do I love his reason for not going to the villains. Like, that whole clip with him explaining to them, like, watching All Might and wanting to be the best like him, and saying, to do that, I have to beat the bad guys. You guys are the bad guys. I've been a Bakugo disrespecter from day one for obvious reasons, but they have finally put him in a situation in which I'm rooting for him, and it is when they surround him with people that I hate way more than him. There is not a single character except for maybe Toga that I like in the League of Villains. They all suck, and I hate them. Toga has been a fan favorite since she showed up in the manga, like, obviously because she's so weird and eccentric, but the anime made her so much better. I loved her already because she's that, like, crazy, but the voice acting and the way she's animated is just, you could not get any better.
Her voice is fucking fantastic.
I'm so good.
It's so good.
I'm excited for the next arc where she's got an even bigger role.
That show is once again, it's peaking. It just keeps peaking over and over and over.
That's
again.
The thing. As I go through and watch these arcs, like, and it happens literally every arc. Having read it before, I go, wow, I forgot how good this arc was, and then going, wow, it gets even better.
Yeah,
it's just
it just keeps getting better.
My Hero Academia in a nutshell.
But it feels like we're finally getting to a climax with the League of Villains that we have.
The stakes are getting a lot higher.
Yeah, we've been very far from at this point. So
people
excited.
Are finally dying. I have a
and don't spoil this for me, but like I think we were starting to get to a place where we could conceivably see what's going to happen once the League of Villains are dealt with. Which, I don't know how far in the future that's going to be, but it would be real.
I'm confused.
Meaning, the League of Villains are no longer going to be the number one concern of all the characters in the show. There is going to be a point where, there's obviously going to be a point where the League of Villains are defeated.
Yeah, they have to be.
But I just, I feel like we're closer to that than ever before, and I don't know if that's a completely wrong prediction or whatever, but clearly that we are at a linchpin moment. Yeah. It would not be showing All for One if it was not about to change everything.
For me, this is really where the stakes get a lot higher in the show. I have a friend that I talked to that's kind of he doesn't consider himself an anime fan. In fact, he says that he doesn't like it. I'm talking about Adam. He says that he doesn't like anime, but he still asks me for shows that he's gonna like. Yeah, shake your head. But he likes the show a lot. And he says that the one thing that he didn't like is nobody ever died and the stakes were high. Like you had Sting in particular. That would have been a perfect moment to kill somebody, and they just didn't. That was his whole thing. He was a hero killer. Yeah. And nobody died, and he was really upset at that. And now we have, starting with a Wild Pussycats. Yeah. You have characters actually dying, and the stakes are much higher.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's one of those things where superheroes. Death is rarely part of their stories, so seeing actual death is it's fucked up. Yeah, and it's a fucked up thing to try to deal with,
especially in Hero Academia. It's such a pure show, you don't expect it. Yeah, you expect the emotions to run high, but you never really consider it a possibility, and then it happens, and it makes you feel it that much more.
Yeah. I think I don't know how much you want to say about GGO because I am accidentally very far behind on it.
Yeah. So GGO, for any of you who aren't watching it because you don't like Sword Art Online, it's not written by Reki.
Yeah, you should watch it.
It takes like the general plot. It takes a world that Reki built, which if you say it's a dumb world, you're dumb.
Yeah.
It's a cool world. Say what you want about how he writes, and it builds a very different and very, very fun story. It's all of the fun of Sword Art Online without the problematic stuff.
Yeah. And without Kirito.
Yeah, like I said, the problematic stuff.
And with a mommy GF.
Yes, with a great mommy GF.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Pito's fantastic. You've
I've
only just
met
scratched
her,
the surface of Fukujiro, though. It's
Yeah.
just Len's friend that originally got her into the games, and she is just great. Spoilers here. She shows up, and she's used to like swinging a massive sword around as a fairy, and she walks in, and she literally dual wields grenade launchers and plays a support character in the squad jam, and she's just hysterical. She's the opposite of what you expect from a little girl in this type of thing.
Yeah.
So she's really cool. It's a very, very fun show. So GGO, do it.
GGO's good. You know what else is good? For completely different reasons that I thought it was going to be, and that is Amanchu. Man, where do I even start? This show has gone places this season that I have never seen a slice of life show go. So for anybody that doesn't know, Amanchu is God, it's so weird that it's considered a shonen series, but it totally is. It is, it's a slice of life show about two girls that live in a seaside town and go scuba diving. And it's like the first season is all about like them getting scuba diving licenses and passing exams and like, sort of, trying to have as much fun as they possibly can in their lives. The second season does two major changes to the formula. First of all, most of it actually doesn't take place during summer. Most of it is taking place during fall and winter. Which is a markedly different aesthetic and tone than the first season, because the first season is like the most summery ass show imaginable. And the one of the other ones is it is about 1,000% more on its face incredibly gay. Pikari and Teko love each other very much, and there are multiple moments where like outside of just straight up them kissing each other, it is like almost explicitly stated that they are gay. Like it is so fucking obvious. Like
they should kiss.
They really should kiss, like for real. But the other major departure that this show has had is that it has had like maybe a 5 or 6 episode long arc that is about lucid dreaming.
That many episodes on lucid dreams?
It is. So it might as well have just been a completely different show. They even released its own a specific key visual just for this arc, because apparently it's like a huge thing.
It's like a spin-off book or something.
I don't know, but it was apparently like a big deal in the manga, and is a big deal for manga fans that it got adapted. So I don't know. It might have been a spin-off thing. It might have just been the mangaka just being like, fuck it, let's just go here.
What I know about Arya is, it was probably that.
Yeah. But yeah, basically, and not only dreams, but also ghosts, like straight up ghosts, and like weird, like almost like Inception level, like diving into other people's dreams and like affecting the dream world. And like, there's a lot of Peter Pan references. Like there's, it's actually, the arc is actually about, Ai Ninomiya, who is the girl with the red hair, like part of the twins.
The sister.
She just like falls asleep. And of course, so there's no way this isn't an Urusei Yatsura reference, because the whole dream thing starts when they are at their school after hours preparing for the festival.
Yeah.
And that is almost an exact replica Dreamers. Of Beautiful Dreamers. So I'm sure this is like a not insignificant Urusei Yatsura reference, and it feels very Rumiko Takahashi. Like it feels very much like
as soon as
that.
you get into that area, that's Rumiko Takahashi for sure.
Yeah. But it's been like a delight in a much different way than Amanchu usually is. A lot more of an emotional tale. Like it's almost like a love story between this ghost. Like Ai literally falls asleep at the top of these stairs and then like falls down them when she wakes up and is like caught by a ghost named Peter, who you then found out is named Peter because their teacher, who met this ghost when she was young was reading Peter Pan and named him Peter. And then they go into his dream, and there is a giant flying ship that's dumping water on the city and flooding it. And basically, like, if the city gets all the way flooded, the dream world will collapse. It's a fucking wild story.
Interesting.
It goes some places, and some places that maybe I don't completely fully understand, even after having watching it. But I will say that Aininamiya is the best character in that show by a million miles. I love her so much, and her big floofy hair. You get to see young Mato-chan sensei, who is their teacher, and she looks like...
she was the one that named Peter?
Yeah, she was the one that named Peter.
Cool.
She also has a black cat on her shoulder that looks exactly like Luna in the dream world. So
I like it.
Yeah, but there's got to be a black cat in every fucking dream world.
In Japan.
Yeah. But yeah, it's good. They're all good. And they just now got back to... They had a very nice New Year's episode where they all fell asleep early and then woke up and saw the first sunrise at their little scuba diving udon shop, whatever it's called.
Nice.
It's really cute. Also, they've introduced some new characters. There is like I call her a little girl, but she's like, like the sort of tropey little girl wants to be like a boy, like a strong man, like type of thing. Her name is Kokoro. And then we also find out that Pikari just has a sister who's like a year younger than her. Yeah.
Okay.
She just
weird.
No, she's like totally normal, and she's like totally. She has
a
a
Muppet face at all, or just completely normal.
Everybody does a Muppet face at some point because it's a Manchu, but she does not say whoop 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 all the time.
Sounds like a boring character. I don't want.
No, she's great. I like her a lot. She's very cute. But she's like she's like the stereotypical sort of like.
She's the responsible younger sister.
Yeah, like the responsible younger sister who is also like very tongue in cheek, but also very loving.
Just
like
Uwe from K-On!
Yeah, it's good. But so that show's good. It's still the type of show.
I never doubted it would be. I knew it would be. I just sometimes you don't start, and then you don't start
for some reason. And I think it was just because I wanted more of those girls.
That's a good enough reason.
And I like those girls.
Watch anything really.
Yeah. Well,
so, I'm a lot quicker with mine because that's just who I am. I'm just going to go down the list. Steins Gate Zero. This is one where if you haven't watched Steins Gate, you're going to be lost, obviously. But if you have watched Steins Gate, you are going to be so darn happy with it.
Yeah, I heard it's really good.
Yeah, you worry about these popular shows being revisited so many years later, and I understand the visual novel wasn't nearly as far later, and you worry about being able to pick up with them, you worry about how new characters are going to interact with the cast, and most importantly, you worry about, is it going to feel like the original? And the first episode, I was like, by the second episode, I was fucking there. Like, it feels like, I don't even remember when the first one came out, like 2011, 2012. It feels like that time again. I got immediately drawn back into it. The new characters are great. The timeline hopping is fantastic. The drama is every bit as high. It's if you've seen Steins Gate and haven't started it for some reason, catch up now because it's 2 cours.
Whew.
Yeah, so we're about halfway through that. And if you've never watched Steins Gate, that's on Crunchyroll, and there's only so many anime that get talked about 5 years after their release. There's a good reason it's still being talked about.
Every single person I follow that's a Steins Gate fan has been freaking out about it so far. It's
absolutely fantastic. Like, I don't have any time to play visual novels, and even then I bought it because I want to play it.
Seems like
I'll never get to it, but it's that good.
Seems like they really did right by everybody.
There's Otakoi, which...
right. I completely forgot that I also have been watching that.
Super far behind on that, but I've read the manga, so I like to know what's up. It's... wish it didn't make me feel so lacking in my own life. There is that, because what a dream. Like, and the funny thing is I have otaku friends at my job, but not like that.
I don't know if I would ever necessarily want the type of relationship that anybody has in that show, but I enjoy
I like the friendships in that a lot more than the relationships.
I like the group. I like the group of 4 is very nice.
The comic kept visiting and stuff like that. That's it's nice.
It is a nice, solid show.
It's a nice thing to think about. That sort of life.
It is a show in 2018 about heterosexual romance that is about as good as one of those things can be.
That's fair. It's a lot of fun, and the references, they definitely hit you over the head with them.
Is about as widely appealing and also good as one of those things can be.
they hit you over the head with the references, but I mean, it's a reference anime.
Well, it's fucking great because they don't make up like fake names for everything and expect you to know.
Real.
Like it's straight up. They just mention like Pokemon Go and straight up Wii and Switch games. Like it's fucking great.
Yeah, there's an entire thing about the girl being invited over to play Mario Kart and thinking they were going to have sex for the first time, and he literally just wanted to play Mario Kart. And then other people walk in to also play Mario Kart, and she was just like, "Oh, I am such an idiot." It was great. It was cute, but it's great. It's cute. Otakoi.
Yeah. Yuki Sawashiro's character continues to just be the most devastatingly sexy anime character.
Yeah.
Good fucking God.
Those cross players in Japan, man, they is it hot in here or is it no?
It is actually very hot.
We're getting close to wrapping up. Hina Matsuri continues to be one of the like most dry and funny anime. Like
I have heard very good things about that show.
As far as comedic timing goes, it's great. And as with any great comedy, when it decides to hit you, it doesn't pull punches and it hits really hard.
Yeah.
There's one character in particular where, she winds up being homeless for a bit, and she you have it's still a comedy.
No, I know.
But you have in Japan, you have the like kind of homeless communities, the tent towns. And she goes with those, and they get the notice that they have to move, so she gets adopted. By like a family where she's been like literally collecting cans at 5 yen a can for a while, and it's just like alarmed at the price that they can charge for a bowl of ramen because she's used to buying fast food ramen from the konbini.
Yeah.
But stuff like that, like it really hits hard when it hits hard. Like the familial ties in it are really great, and it's above all, it's fucking hysterical.
Yeah, it seems really funny.
It's the funniest show this season.
That's another one of those shows that like every time I see people talking about it, it's about how good it is.
Yeah, it's really good, and it was surprising.
Yeah,
Mega Box. It sounds like both me and you are not watching P5.
Yeah, I mean,
I still fully intend to play the game. I've joked at least like 3 times this episode about how I don't have time to play games, but I'm slowly and very surely working my way through it, and I think I want to save the anime for after that.
I genuinely liked what I saw of it. It's just like time constraints. Like was one of the most inessential anime I was watching.
Comic Girls was a surprise. So much of a surprise that I messed up, and it wasn't even part of the preview. It's about girls.
We always have one.
Yeah, it's about girls in a high school dorm drawing comics, but like always, it's about a lot more than that. One of the characters especially has major social anxiety problems, and facing those, learning how to make friends, and all the characters are kind of caricatures of the type of thing that they draw, which is really funny. Like there's one character that's like really pure and timid most of the time, but she draws eromaga, which is hysterical. And she's also flat, which normally I wouldn't even bother to mention, but her like name, the pen name they gave her was something like Giant Tits Sensei. So the first time she has a book signing, like there's actually like a really touching, nice thing about her like having to go and own that part of herself. Yeah. And it was really touching because she fights through that with the help of her friends and the dorm mother. And then there's, the opposite side where not so much touching but funny, where there's a weird ass teacher that they have that's a massive fan of the shonen manga. And it turns out it's one of the girls drawing the shonen manga that comes out during the class. And that's just like a funny back and forth, because how would you deal in high school having a teacher as a fan, and how would a teacher deal with having one of their students draw their favorite manga?
Yeah.
It's funny. It's some good comedy.
That is funny.
Let's see what else we got.
Are we gonna
Umusume, Pretty Derby. Wrapping up. That's really good. That's a show where I knew going into it, regardless of how awful it was going to be, I was going to like it. But to the surprise of mostly everybody, it's actually like legitimately a good sports anime. Not so much a good idol anime, which I'm sad about. They've had like a total of 2 performances, but
I don't think anybody was expecting it to be a great idol anime.
I was expecting more music, especially with the cast, but it's the cast is huge. They're a lot of fun. It's the definition of a feel-good anime, because while it's competitive, there's a lot of that. It is definitely a sports anime.
Yeah.
Everybody is really nice and always rooting for each other, and it's about good rivalries, and there's hardly any jealousy or anything like that. It's a feel-good show. If you wrote it off because of what it is, undo that and try it again. But I feel like there's at least like one major one.
Patrick.
Still.
We have yet to talk about Darling in the Franxx.
Oh, God. Why? Hang on. Do we have to leave that for the end?
No, I have one more after that, but...
I remember. I had a major one that I want to talk about, but I'm going to save that for after Darling in the Franxx.
Okay. Well, Darling in the Franxx. Darling in the Franxx is not good.
Yeah, wanted it to be so bad, and literally the only reason I'm watching it anymore is because
we have to. We have to follow through with it. We have to see how this thing ends.
There is that, but my personal reason is Kugyu is voicing the Klaxar princess.
Obviously.
I just love the design, and she's awful, and she steps on people, and that part is great. Give me an entire show about her killing everybody else in the show. It has
gone out of its way to be every type of bad that an anime can be.
Yeah.
Morally repugnant. The only thing that has never been bad is the production. Like it has always looked good. Fine.
Even with 2 recaps.
It is. Yeah. It is not just bad. It is.
It's drawing out the bad.
Like it is. Gross. Like its message is very like anti. Like it is someone said like they've managed to queer heterosexuality somehow in this show and make heterosexuality the like subversive,
What's upsetting to me the most about that is, as bad as this is, I kind of expect anime to be bad with this stuff.
Totally.
But Darling in the Franxx was set up so nicely to subvert the shittiness and then went shittier than I ever could have imagined.
Yep. We constantly, since the beginning, have been begging like people to like. I want to see a woman in the pilot seat with like a dude,
peg a dude
getting pegged, and like the time we finally see that, it's like the shitty villains who are coming to rain on everybody's party. Yeah, no, it's literally the gay Gestapo.
Yeah,
and like
it was. Yeah,
I've had people try to like tell me like, oh no, it's more. There's more subtlety. There's no fucking subtlety happening here. They're literally drawing a direct parallel between villainous activity and people who reject gender norms and have alternative sexualities, to the point where the 2 very clearly gay characters on their team have been completely suppressed.
Yeah.
They have been completely beaten down into repressing their sexuality, a la like almost like gay conversion therapy.
Yeah,
like one of them literally
like,
went through something analogous to like gay conversion therapy with like the memory erasure.
Awful, yeah.
It's fucking disgusting. And on
gave
top
him a
of that,
straighter, more boring hetero haircut after it too.
Yep. And on top of that, it literally feels like every person that's writing a specific episode is just trying to fuck over the next person so badly.
That's a good way to put it.
Like there is absolutely zero communication between episode to episode. Like it's just completely inconsistent to the point where now we have fucking aliens invading.
Yeah, so we have A1 who's like writing it and all that, and we have Trigger doing it, and it feels like A1 is trying to be Trigger at the end, where you get their plots are always kind of like asymptomatic, where it ramps up to just crazy speeds at the end. It feels like they're trying to do that, but it's bad.
And I still am continuing to say people think this is a Trigger show, and it's not. It's an A1 show that Trigger is helping out on animation, and that's it. Like it is not. Yeah. Trigger's name isn't even on this thing. Like it's not in the credits. Like this is not a Trigger show. Trigger does not own the property. Like
it's partially their fault for announcing it that way, though.
Well, yeah, they totally announced it that way, but they're a victim of their own notoriety, because as soon as they say that they're going to be involved with something, automatically it becomes theirs, regardless of whether or not it is. But like, I'm just like thankful to hell to know that like this isn't actually a Trigger show, and this isn't actually people at Trigger making this like horrifically, like just morally shitty, awful shit.
The worst part. And this is I'm totally copying this from someone on Twitter. I forget who it said is Kokoro is pregnant now.
Yeah.
Which is already awful. Like I don't want to deal with that in this shitty much of a show. But I'm sitting there waiting, and I'm not thinking, how is Kokoro going to get fucked over? I'm thinking, how is the show going to fuck her over?
Yeah.
Which is like a horrible, horrible way to think about it. But this show is forcing me to think of it like that. I'm ready for it to be over. I really want the Klaxar princess to just kill everybody. And it looks like I might get my wish.
Maybe. I don't know. Who knows with Verm in the picture now. This show is so bad. Like
you can do that well at the 8th hour. Look at fucking Diebuster.
You totally can, but there is absolutely no reference or lead up to the fact that there is a phantom third force in the mix here. It was a complete ass pull from start to finish, and I can't wait to see how they somehow make it worse.
Yeah,
it's because it's gonna get worse.
Yeah,
trust me.
That ending,
over. Yeah, that ending is gonna be fucking awful. But yeah, So, but that's how you know it's getting to a point where like even the people that have like I've seen on Twitter like that are its most staunch defenders, like I didn't fucking hear a peep out of them this week. Like even this last episode has basically alienated everybody. So
said you had one more?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention Food Wars really quickly because Food Wars has been in this Totsuki train arc for the past probably 6 or 7 episodes, and I have to say this is the best arc this show has ever had so far. It is completely allowing the show's sort of unique sense of morality about food to come out, in the sense that like this really great story about these sort of like this rebel faction within Totsuki Academy versus this, overarching like gourmet cuisine. Like I don't want to say Gestapo again, but like they are literally
Here we
like,
are.
They are literally like a fascist government based around like what determining what gourmet cuisine is. And then we have like everybody from Polar Star who is like gathering their forces and trying to beat them back.
You say this is the best arc because of that, but me and you both know it's the best arc because of where Erina is now.
Yeah, no, like Erina has had more character development in these like past couple episodes.
I mean, she was always one of my favorites, but she towards the arc where we're getting now, and I need to catch up soon because this is about where I stopped reading the manga. Yeah, really, really good.
It has been incredibly good. I really like Nakiri Azami as a villain a lot. I really like
horrible. Who's voicing him?
I don't know. Some one of the many.
Does he sound just like? Is his voice like dripping with cruelty?
He sounds like evil Kinjo. Like he's just evil Fukutomi. He's like very deep voiced. I wouldn't even be surprised if that was his voice actor. Like
I was thinking like either do something like that or just straight up like make him Frieza.
No, he's like incredibly deep voiced. He needs
to sound commanding.
Yeah, he's incredibly commanding, but incredibly like dark and brooding, like as well. Like he's very much in that. But I really like the all the backstory we're starting to get on Soma's dad, and how it relates to my favorite character name in the entire show, Dojima Gin, who is the like hotel manager.
He's really cool.
It's voiced by Takahito Koyasu, who's the best person that could have possibly voiced that character. But like them like sort of helping the rebels sort of finalize their stuff, and like they just got to in this last episode they just got to like the final battle arena and have revealed like who their allies are, and the fact that it's like Takahiro Sakurai's like character who like is always naked.
Yeah.
And it's there's like such a great moment at the very end of the last episode where the chef that he's battling against is being like such a shithead to him and like talking so much shit about everybody in Polar Star and all this shit. And Takahiro Sakurai's character has just been like very frivolous and very sort of like low effort. And then he takes out like an eel and like slams it to the table and sort of is just like, he looks back at him and just goes, "It's time to shut up now," and just like perfectly fillets the eel with one slice, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, he has way more skill than maybe anyone in the world. He just never uses it."
Yeah, I love that about that character. Like every once in a while when it shines through, you're just like, it's always that character.
Well, and even Soma is like, "Oh my god, even all the times that he's cooked for me, he hasn't used like 5% of his skill." And now this dude pissed him off because he's been talking shit about his friends, so he's just literally going to slam his face in the mud.
It goes back to what makes Shokugeki no Soma so good, in that it's a shonen battle anime about food.
It has some of the best battles I've ever seen in a shonen series, and there is no battle.
Yeah.
It's just food.
They did it much better than Toriko.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. This arc has been the best. It's been peak Food Wars. Yeah. I've been really enjoying it. Is that it?
I got one to end, and this y'all, if you know me, you might hate this, but please sit and listen. I am definitely Is it Precure? Yes.
Fuck. Okay, so you got to tell me about this character that I keep seeing all over Twitter, because is it the one with the hair, the
purple or
purple
orange?
And
that's Lulu. I'll get there. So okay,
tell me about her.
Pretty Cure. To give you a bit of background on myself, I've always been kind of like a Magic Girl fan. Like I've never shied away from watching Sailor Moon or anything like that. But I got into Pretty Cure specifically because of a fight scene in the first episode. I saw it on a GIF thread on 4chan, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And that was Heartcatch Pretty Cure, which was my introduction to the series, which is almost everybody's favorite because some of the themes that it tackles, it's a lot more adult. The animation style is different, and it was just a perfect lineup of things that you could hope for in a magical girl show. We're about 18 episodes through Hugto, I think, maybe 20. Hugto is better than Heartcatch. Yeah,
Word.
this is the thing that like made me like go over the edge into considering myself a Magical Girl fan. And to back up a bit, this is another just perfect storm. So director Junichi Sato hasn't directed a Magical Girl show since Ojamacho Dormi in like 2002, but this is the guy that did Princess Tutu and the first 2 seasons of Sailor Moon. So he is as close to Magical Girl royalty as you could ever get. This is his return, and he's kind of forgotten the rules of Magical Girl shows. So he kind of has a free license to do what he wants there, because in addition, we have some newbie producers that where normally, especially for a Toei show, would put their foot down and say, you kind of have to stop. Like, this is a kid show. Calm down. There is none of that here. And it's great because the villainous organization of this is based over just like they're a corporate capitalist entity. Now, the character you're talking about, Lulu, is supposed to be like a worker drone, more or less. Yeah. She's a robot that works for the company. Her soul is for the company. And they keep getting beat by the Precure, and
is she kind of like a almost like a Gyaru, like in her look? Like if it's the one I'm thinking of, like
hang on. You might be thinking of just like one of the regular villains.
She doesn't look like a villain though. She looks like a regular character, but I don't know.
Anyway, are you talking about this one?
Oh no, I'm not. Maybe I'm not talking about
one of the villains.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so Lulu, she's like the classic worker drone, but she, they struggle with defeating the Precure, and she gets put in kind of reconnaissance, show up as like a regular person at their school, and naturally she starts to get turned to the point where now she's one of them.
Yeah.
And so that's just a really cool like redemption arc. You see that a lot in Precure, but this one especially because of the like corporate capital undertones of the show is really interesting. And on top of that, the other themes that they tackle are really heavy for a kid's show. Almost every episode is about like overcoming some sort of loss or failure.
Damn.
Like one of the first 3, she was a child figure skater that busted on like a triple axel or something and literally became like afraid to jump. And normally in a Magical Girl show, okay, there's your tragic backstory, you overcome it. This took 3 episodes, and like each of the 3 episodes had her failing spectacularly and painfully. And every character gets some of that in the show.
It's like the fucking post 9/11 episode of Bear in the Big Blue House.
You're not wrong, but yeah, I just like it's. If you've ever been curious about a Precure show, jump in now before it's 50 episodes long and it feels too daunting.
Now, granted, this is again not streamed anywhere.
Right, pirate this one. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
It's never going to come out here.
Like, don't say pirate. Say obtain through alternative means.
Yeah. Anyway, find a way to watch this show
if
you're at all interested.
Don't fucking watch it on Kiss Anime. Do whatever you want, but don't do that.
It's incredible. And on top of that, it's one of the best animated Precures I've seen. Every fight
that is saying something because they're all pretty fucking good.
This has I will go down and say it's the best looking show this season. I have no qualms about saying that it's the best looking show this season. And like every episode has a standout scene. In Precure, they normally trade directors. Like there's 3 or 4 animation directors, and they'll take turns. Every single one of them has standout scenes every episode.
Cool.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's the highlight of my week. The characters are amazing. I love it. It's really good. Now I'm looking at all the amazing Lulu fan art.
That's good because it seems like a couple of the past Precures have been pretty underwhelming.
I wouldn't call any of them bad, but underwhelming is a good word
for Precure standards.
Yeah. We haven't had a really good one since Smile.
Well, good.
And Smile was the one that came out here.
There you go. Is that the one that came out here as Glitter Force?
Yes.
Yeah.
Smile's really fucking good. But yeah, watch
Glitter Force season 2 when?
That happened actually. That was Doki Doki. Yeah, they just did the next season.
Word.
But yeah.
All right.
You're talking about this character, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah. Who is that?
She's still one of the baddies. She's starting to...
Don't wave your hand. She's so beautiful.
Well, okay. She's one of the baddies, but she had an episode recently where she's starting to get fed up as well. Where like she was in the middle of a battle and she gets interrupted and she's just like, oh, it's time for my date, actually, and just leaves. She just leaves. She's like, well, I got to go on a date. See ya.
Perfect.
Fight the power.
Okay, so I think that's gonna do it.
I'm sweating, so let's go.
My tailbone hurts more than maybe it's ever hurt in my life. So these chairs,
we do it for y'all.
These chairs suck, but they look good. So Anyways, that's going to do it for us, guys. The only place you need to go is onoanime.moe.
Yeah, the only new thing we haven't mentioned is we have actual email addresses now.
We do.
So we still have, and please use onoanime@gmail.com if you want to send both of us a question. If you have a specific question, we also now have Mark, that's with a C, at onoanime.moe. And I'm going to get .com working this weekend. I can do that. And we also have Patrick at onoanime.moe.
The only other thing I'll mention is that we are starting back up with Ono Anime Radio again. We're doing seasons now, 5 episodes a season, which I think is maybe the best idea I've ever had in terms of actually allowing us a fucking breather once in a while with that shit. But so I recorded a mix for episode 1 of season 2. We already have some really great artists lined up in the future that I'm really excited to put out there. But that all happens at soundcloud.com/OnoAnimeRadio. We used to put them up in the podcast feed. We're not going to do that anymore because it costs a lot of money. So that's the plain and simple of it, folks. So soundcloud.com/OnoAnimeRadio is the place to be for that. And it's one of the best mixes I've ever done. So go listen to that. And we have some really fucking some mind-blowingly good album art from that Kat did for us that I still rustles my jimmies in a good way.
It is very good.
It is incredibly good. So that's going to do it for us, guys. Onoanime.moe to know everything you could ever possibly want to know about us and just see a good ass looking website. But I think that's it.
Yeah.
You got anything else?
That should about do it.
All right.
See you at Anime Expo, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We will see you at Anime Expo 2018. And we'll see you also